videos about AI generated videos of Christine, and it's just god awful as they're grieving and trying to fight for the truth that they are also having to deal with these fake videos attacking them as they are just trying to literally bury their son next week. Um, but we want everybody to say that we can go through this journey together. For the truth. And
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening. Hey everybody, what's popping? Let me see if it's just happening over here on the TikTok. I mean on the YouTube. Hold on.
Which I appreciate, but of course that wasn't what she, took responsibility and accountability for. But we were not communicated with that information. So for us, like I said before, the last time we actually spoke to someone with the sheriff's department was last Tuesday. That was via text message that I initiated, just asking for an update. So that's the biggest thing is, I appreciate that she took accountability for saying, hey, that was actually our doing. But, we have a setup now. And so the hope is that we'll have that open lines of communication.
So you feel like this was useful
and
today?
Attorney Hertz has a comment on that there.
Let me just say that under the law in Mississippi, a victim is entitled within, I think it's 72 hours to get an incident report and to have certain information shared. It's been more than 72 hours, and that's part of the meeting here today to start getting the incident report and all that information that we came here to collect, as well as listen to the district attorney and what she had to say.
Did you get that report?
No, not yet. We are working with them to say there need to be better communications with the clients and so forth. So the big things that we know, there's going to be a grand jury into the death of Nolan Wells, and number two, that we're going to have a mutual inspection of Nolan's cell phone. We just want to make sure everybody else's cell phone is also being downloaded. Thank you.
Really quickly, as far as when are the homegoing services?
Monday at 11.
How do I get this on?
Okay, if you are just now joining in, give me a second. I will get y'all the full press conference, okay? Shout out to WLOX. I have been keeping up with them. We will bring you this stream from the beginning. Okay, now I do want to let you know Ben Crump does take accountability. Now I was prepared to do a whole video, and I guess I'm going to give y'all that video. I wasn't planning on coming live until a little later on, but I figured let's just go ahead and let's get this out now. I'll do a thumbnail, I'll do a proper title and all of that after the fact. And however many people come in, they come in and they catch it. If they catch it on a replay, they catch it on a replay. So apparently, why am I hearing another voice? Where is that coming from? Oh, okay, I see. Hold on.
Out there and those press people asking those questions, you would not have known that. Of that injustice. So don't give me some bullshit about the media and all that, and the family deserves this and we don't transparency and they can't be updating people. It didn't cost them anything to get in front of those cameras. It doesn't cost that sheriff anything to get in front of a camera and update people. That's how things come to light. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
That's a fact.
Yes, they can investigate and they can give updates and briefings at the same time. They're not doing it because, as that woman, who was it yesterday, Ms. Jefferson said, maybe they just don't know what they're doing.
It's a possibility.
Or maybe something is going on. You have 72 hours that you're supposed to give a victim statement in Mississippi, and a case of this high profile. 11 days later, they still haven't got it. And the mother has to contact you to ask you to be communicative with her.
Now, I'm going to play for you the press conference from the beginning. Hey, Big Gene. Every time you come in here, I'm not on the camera. You be missing me when I'm on camera. I'm going to come on the camera in a few minutes. This was impromptu. Okay. It was impromptu. So what Don Lemon is addressing is this press conference. Now, they are leaving from what I'm assuming is the Jackson, Mississippi Sheriff's Department. And there are some updates, okay? I'm still going to give y'all the video that I was going to give y'all about Ben Crump not retracting his statement by saying, give me my freaking phone. What the freak are you doing? When we all know that that's not what we heard. I'm not attacking Ben Crump, but one thing I'm not going to do is I am not going to fall for anything. I'm not going to run with a narrative because of whoever said it. I'm not that person. And that's why I don't get a lot of traction, because I won't say what other people say just because it's the popular thing to say. Now, and the thing about the photo as well. So he does address this, but we need to hear about some of the workings that have happened. More funny style stuff going down in Southern judicial systems, because the sheriff's office is a part of a judicial system. And so there's more funny style stuff that's going on, like Don Lemon just addressed. There's supposed to be a 72-hour window where the family gets a victim's well, I'm gonna let them say it to you. I'm not gonna mess it up. Let's watch this from the beginning, y'all. And while y'all watch that, I'll get myself camera ready.
Good morning. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Eric Hurts, Justin Preston, and Cliff Jones. We have the honor of representing the family.
Can you guys hear it okay, or is it a little low? It sounds a little low to me. I'm just making sure you guys can hear, because I want y'all to hear everything that is being said. Shout out to everybody who was here this morning. It's low. Yeah, I can't turn the volume up. Unfortunately, he's got to step closer to the mic. Maybe he does. I apologize. I can't. Wait, let me see. Maybe.
Of Nolan Wells. We have present with us his mother and father.
Yeah, it's low because he's low away from the microphone. So maybe he'll get louder as he talks. I apologize, guys, but I can't turn it up.
Christine and Elmore. We've just had an opportunity to meet with District Attorney Angel McAgrath and some members of her team. We had a very respectful meeting. The thing I assume some of you may know, the thing to announce, she shared with the family that there will be a grand jury that she will turn this case over to once they have collected all the information and finished their investigation.
So if you don't know, I'm just going to come in and give y'all some commentary. So if you don't know, the FBI is now involved in Nolan Wells's case. They are going to be putting together a grand jury for his case. And that is what Ben Crump is talking about right now. Yeah, they're doing a grand jury.
We also agreed that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts. Attorney Eric Hurts is helping lead the investigation team with former law enforcement experts who are going to help us with the cell phone download. So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has. We also talked.
Okay, so he's saying that they are agreeing to basically, here I come, y'all. They are agreeing to basically sync their investigative teams and tools so that while they are going through the cell phones, everybody can see the cell phones at the same time as the review is happening. I'm comfortable with that because we know that things can get real janky. Now, look, listen, don't y'all come for me, okay? Because I know how y'all like to do. Don't y'all come for me when I come up on the screen because I ain't got no lipstick, no eyeliner on, no nothing. Okay? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Here we go. Here I go. Here I go. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So they're going to sync them together, which I am here for because I feel like that is the way that this keeps everybody honest. Swagger, don't be laughing because you know you're going to be the main one popping it in the comment section.
About trying to make sure we dot every I and cross every T. I know that we're getting about 50 calls a day to 100 calls a day from people who were there on Horn Island.
Good.
People who are familiar with individuals that were there on Horn Island.
Good.
And so we continue to be steadfast in trying to get to the truth of why Nolan Wells is dead.
I agree.
At this time,
I'm going to pause and give commentary in between. You guys know that. I'm glad to hear that they are getting phone calls, confirmation, information coming in. Hey, y'all. Information coming in regarding this case from people who were actually there, because I'm not going to hold y'all online. There is a whole lot of hoopla that is going on. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the recent information that is going viral about the autopsy, which I feel like is so disrespectful, but we're going to keep it on this for now. But I'm happy to hear that people are reaching out to them. I know that is something that the public, we the people, have been wanting to know. Are people just coming out and having these interviews? Are they actually talking to law enforcement, to Ben Crump's legal team? Are they doing these things? And he's confirming that they are doing these things. I just hope that people are paying attention to what's being said to them.
I have Attorney Hertz say a few words, and then Christine and Elmore would just talk about the homegoing services and celebration.
I'll be right back, y'all.
And then we'll take a few of your questions. Attorney Eric Hertz.
Thank you. Right now, there's a lot of unanswered questions. We appreciate the district attorney meeting with us, but because of certain types of confidentiality that even the victims are not allowed to know, we did not get all the answers.
Y'all can see me? Oh, God.
Investigation going on that involves former law enforcement federal agents that are going to be looking into all the different information we got. The calls are coming in and we're getting a lot of information. Some of the people that I spoke to are not talking with law enforcement here. We're going to be trying to get them to cooperate with each other because we want to make sure the narrative, which has been put out that is false, is going to be corrected. So at this point, we just asked everybody to.
So they're trying to make sure that they keep the case clean. Yeah, okay. They're trying to make sure that they keep the case clean and get rid of any false narratives that are out here.
Keep calling in if you have any information and let us know. And I personally, if we validate you're a legitimate call, we'll call you and talk to you. And I thank you all for showing up today.
And now, Christine and Elmore will just share with you some details of the homegoing celebration for their son.
Hello, everyone. So the homegoing celebration, the funeral will be held at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. It is going to be visitation will be 9 to 11, and then the funeral will start after that. The plan is for the repast because, again, we want to celebrate Nolan, and he would not um, want us to be sitting around crying and eating. And so, what we're going to do is kind of have a party to celebrate him, and that.
So they're not having, in case you didn't know, they're no longer going to be having the funeral services in Mississippi where they originally were going to have them. They are now moving that venue, and she is saying that they are going to have more of a celebration of life than a memorial type of thing. They don't want to make it doom and gloom because that is not what Nolan would have wanted any of them to do. So, I tip my hat to this mother because I don't know if I would have been able to do this. Now, one thing that I have been critical of, and I'm not going to hold you. I don't take back what I say. I stand on what I say, if you don't know that. One thing I've been critical of is the fact that she has not had a moment to properly grieve, that she has been, in the press, and we know why that is. We don't have to say it, but we know why that is. But I will say this mother's strength is admirable. Okay, because I don't know if I would have been able to keep my sanity, as well, and my composure as well as she has.
It'll be held at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. Um, so we
So they're going to be having the funeral service. I'm sorry, I did say that it wasn't going to be, it's not going to be at the arena anymore. It's now going to be at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. So y'all, if y'all are in the area, if y'all want to fly out there, that's where they're going to be.
really do want to keep it for family and friends. We are going to allow media to come in as well. And lastly, absolutely, teammates. We've already contacted Coach Les George because we want to make sure that those guys are there. Former teammates from high school, middle school, teams that he played against. You guys are all welcome. But of course, we want to make sure that our families for sure and close friends get there. So I do want to just say for those of you, again, if you are having protests, even the day of his service, I am asking you guys to just keep it peaceful.
So she's inviting the press, his teammates, his former teammates from high school, his friends, his family. She will be allowing the press to come as well, but she's making sure that friends and family are there first and foremost before anybody else, which is understandable. And she's asking those who are holding any type of protest to stay nonviolent. She does not want the violence, okay? I know that the sound is low, which is why I'm pausing and I'm telling y'all what it is that they are saying in between them saying what they're saying.
Nolan would never want any type of violence or anything like that. He was not that kind of person. So if you guys would again just be peaceful, and to the community, thank you so much. Just the outpouring of love, support. We've had some local officials. Mayor Casey Vaughn from Gaucher has reached out to us. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. He has, it's almost been every day. He's been texting to check on us. Also, Jeffrey Hullum, thank you so much. He's been texting pretty much every day, receiving a lot of stories from Nolan's teachers, which just warms my heart, his classmates, teammates. So again, for those of you who have donated to the GoFundMe, once again, I stress, if you are not financially able to, we're not begging for that money, okay? If you're not financially able to, we understand. We thank you for whatever you can give, but if you cannot, if you would just keep us in your prayers. And to his friends, stay strong, and please just take care of your mental health because I know this is a lot. It's a lot for us, and I know you guys are feeling some of that too. So thank you all.
Are there any questions? Yes.
Attorney Crum, Skylar Henry here with CBS News. The last time that you spoke in a setting like this. I know you guys were hoping to get results back from an independent autopsy. I know you mentioned that Nolan had been sent to
Washington, D.C.
Is there anything to share on that front?
Not at this time, but we hope soon, very soon. Obviously, we're concentrating on the funeral services.
Okay, hold on. I've got to bring that back because I didn't hear what the question was.
Fill in some of that too. So thank you all.
I'm trying to hear and tell y'all, where's my headphones? I need to put my headphones on. That's the problem. They're not over here. They're somewhere they're not supposed to be.
Are there any questions? Yes.
Attorney Crump, Skylar Henry here with CBS News. The last time that you spoke in a setting like this, I know you guys were hoping to get results back from an independent autopsy. I know you mentioned.
He's asking him about the independent autopsy. He's saying the last time that he spoke in a setting like this, which was a press conference environment, he was hoping to have the autopsy back by now. Let me listen some more.
That Nolan had been sent to
Washington, D.C.
Is there anything to share on that front?
So he's asking about the independent autopsy and asking if there's anything to share from the independent autopsy.
Not at this time, but we hope soon, very soon. Obviously, we're concentrating on the funeral services, but hopefully shortly thereafter, we will be able to tell some findings of the preliminary autopsy. Still waiting on some things.
So he said they're still waiting on some things from the preliminary autopsy.
And also, while we're talking about funeral services, want to thank Mr. Tyler Perry for paying for the funeral.
Absolutely.
As well as Colin Kaepernick for helping to shoulder the expense of the independent autopsy. And I thank Reverend Al for agreeing to officiate the funeral services. Yes, sir.
Aaron Gilchrist with NBC News. Mr. and Mrs. Walmsley, you said from the very beginning that for you, this was really about getting some answers about what happened to your son. Do you feel like after your meeting today, you have any more clarity on what happened?
So they're asking her if after having this meeting today that they had, if she's gotten any clarity on any answers that she needed and what happened with Nolan.
Well, it was just a meeting where she talked about the process. She didn't tell us any information about the investigation too much because those things are, as she said, her role and what she has to do. But they still have questions, and that's not insignificant to this meeting. It's just in general. Every morning they wake up and there's a hole in their heart, and they are trying to say, what happened to my son? Obviously, you know, they feel strongly that he would not have just stayed behind. He wouldn't have left his cell phone. And so we're trying to get to those answers.
Okay, so basically, they just, if you guys didn't hear it, they just discussed what the process is with the DA, okay? And what they're going to be doing. Because again, there is going to be a grand jury. The FBI is involved in the case now. So this is not something that is being taken lightly.
Attorney Crump, Brian Rose, GC Wire. There's been a lot of misinformation that's been spread online, especially the pool picture that was shared by you. And you had said that.
Well, I didn't share it. I reposted it. We're reposting everything. Let's make it clear. We're reposting everything because we're trying to get.
Hold on. Go back.
He would not have just stayed by.
First of all, Keisha, let me tell you this right now. Don't come in here with your foolishness today. Don't come in here with your foolishness. Take all that back where you came from. I'm warning you ahead of time.
He wouldn't have left his cell
Don't
phone.
touch her uniquely. That one's mine.
Those answers.
Attorney Crump, Brian Rose, GC Wire. There's been a lot of misinformation that's been spread online.
So they're saying there's a lot of misinformation that's being spread
Especially the pool picture that
online, especially the pool picture
shared by you, and you had said that.
shared by you.
I didn't share it. I reposted it. We're
Yeah, you reposted it, so you shared it.
reposting everything. Let's make it clear. We're reposting everything because we're trying to get people to come in and call. And so we've said from the beginning, we're in a ferocious search for the truth. And so things out there, we are trying to post, ask people, do you know something about this? Let us know.
That's not what he's saying, though. See, I was trying to be good today because I went to bed last night and I said that I was not going to, I'm a fall back just a little bit, on the no. I'm gonna give y'all what I was gonna give y'all yesterday. And it's nothing personal against Attorney Trump. Trump. Oh, I call that man Trump. Against Ben Crump, but I'm gonna speak the truth. I'm going to speak the truth. My mic has nothing to do with the volume of the video, baby. You can't mess with Crump.
Just because we repost does not mean that we authenticate anything. Look at our social media. We have always been very careful to say this is a repost, and we almost always give a declaration that that's what it is, a repost.
No. Now, see, now I got to get you. Now I got to get you, and I can't even wait because I got you. Now I got to get you because that's not. I'm sorry. I bet no, you're not gonna play in my face. Maybe he could play in other people's faces, but you're not about to play in my face. And if you are here under the sound of my voice, he's not about to play in y'all face neither. Now, Crump. I was with you till I wasn't with you. It does say repost, and it says where he reposted it from. Ruby, is my volume better for you, or do I need to turn it down some more? Because I realize maybe I'm just a little too loud. But it says Nolan Wells investigation update. Investigation update. The streets are talking. Now listen, I don't know if these are facts or rumors, but you're putting words like investigation update. You're reposting it to your social media. I don't see you asking anybody, if you know any information, to contact us. The wording means everything because people are hanging their hats on what Attorney Crump is saying. I'm one of those people who said, if Attorney Crump didn't say it, if the family hasn't said it, that's not confirmation for me. I'm not going off of that. If I haven't figured it out for myself, I'm not gonna. The wording is everything. Listen, the Reset Queen. Hey, Buki, let me say this to you. As a content creator, I don't know if you create content or not, but I'm going to speak as a content creator, okay? When somebody who is considered to be an authoritative figure on a matter puts something out there and does not make it very clear that they are not solidifying this, that they are putting this out, and if you have any information, that's something different. Putting this post out and saying that it is a Nolan Wells investigation update is what has been giving people the authority to go out there. Now, if you're posting this and you say, listen, the streets are talking and this is what they're saying. If you have any information about this, please contact our office. That's way different. He's got to be careful with his wording because this is what had people run with this story and it was false. It was 1000% false. And that's what I'm going to talk about. She said they messy, including. Listen, if they think he knows something, they're going to come out and tell on themselves to get ahead of it before someone tells on them. Look, that's all I'm saying is he's got to be more responsible and accountable. But he's addressing this social media stuff. So let's listen. Mm-hmm. 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 I agree. All relevant information. Now, let me say something. Some of y'all out here are a little too. I'm not talking to y'all. No sound on where? On me or on the video? You can't hear the video? Okay, you can't hear the video. Oh, because I didn't share the tab. My bad. My bad.
Saying I was on Horn Island. This is what I saw. I know these individuals. This is what we know. They said we understand the sheriff's investigation has hundreds of people calling too. And so the hope is that when this is presented to the grand jury, all relevant witnesses and evidence will be presented to them so that we can have a fair and impartial investigation into the death of Nolan Wells.
So this is what I was talking about. It's good that people are calling both Benjamin, the legal team, and Ben Crump's team. And they're calling the sheriff's office as well. But there's a lot of whack jobs out here that are going to call and say some stuff. So I hope that they're able to weed this thing out and really get to the heart of the matter. Okay. Just like that Alasia, that pool party story. Yeah. That was one for the books. I ain't even going to hold you. That was one for the books, because even though it has been debunked, it's still something that people are continuing to hold on to. If you did not watch my video about the pool party, please go back and watch the last video that I did, which was, I think, day before yesterday. And I'll be sure when this video is over to put it on the end tab, even though it probably ain't going to help y'all now. Because I'm put it on the end screen, but y'all can go to my live videos and watch the last live. We talked about Trayston, we talked about Javon, and guess what? We're going to talk about it a little bit more today too. So y'all, I'm gonna let videos play and get me some coffee in a minute, because yeah, we in this mug today.
We were very honest and candid with the district attorney, and she was honest and candid with us. Our lived experiences tell us that we must question everything, everybody's role, law enforcement role. That is the lived experience of us as Black people in America. And we will be not honoring the ancestors' sacrifices for us if we did not be honest every chance we got when we talk to power. Yes, sir.
Eric mentioned the false narrative out there. Well, I've seen quite a few of those, so I was wondering if you could tell us which false narrative you're talking about, so we can let people know.
Yes, I get it.
Not I done muted myself now. She's asking him, which false narrative are you talking about? Because the guy asked about the pool party. Now she's asking about the boat.
Was there a particular false narrative you were
There's a lot of narratives out there right now, and
There's a lot of narratives we're going to try to investigate all of that.
there's a lot of narratives out there right now. I'm not going to.
I heard what he said in the background. He said he told this guy to say, stop doing this stuff, okay? Tell them that they're investigating this stuff.
Comment on any particular one, but whenever a case this big gets in the news, people try, for whatever motivations, law enforcement or whoever, people that call in, try to set up a narrative so that people will follow the narrative. Our job is to cut through all the noise and find the truth. And the truth needs to be found by unbiased investigation, as well as unbiased lawyers and all the people that are out here, all you investigatory journalists and everyone else. We just ask that you keep an open mind until we get to the truth.
That ain't what they asking about. Because see, and this is why I'm going to do my video. This is why I'm going to do my video still. This is why y'all going to get the video y'all got on Instagram over here today. Okay? Because that's not what we talking about. What we talking about, we ain't talking about FBI plants and police plants to steer a narrative. What we're talking about is Ben Crump hung. Am I muted? I'm not muted. Am I muted? Who's muted? Can y'all hear me? Okay. Let me continue. Ruby, is the microphone turned down, or do I need to turn it down some more? Because I look down, I'm like, oh, maybe it is up a little too loud on me. Okay. What I'm talking about and what we talking about and what we want to know is, sir, you mentioned that boat. You gave us a narrative. And I posed a question on my Instagram about I posed a question on my Instagram and asked people before Ben Crump came out and said, give me my freaking phone. What the freak are you doing? Is that what you heard? That is not what I heard. I'm not going to lie to the people and say, yep, that's what I heard because he said it. I don't care who came down loud. Your mic is loud, but the video is low. So when you turn it up to hear the video, when you start talking, it's like you're busting through the speakers. Well, I can't turn my mic down too loud because I don't want my mic up on my mouth either. Is that better? No, I get what she's saying. What she's saying is because the video is down low and mine is, you get what I'm saying? Like that, because she's trying to hear the video. When I come in, it sounds like I'm blaring because you can't hear the video. So I've turned the mic down a little bit. Hopefully that is best. But let me get back to what I was saying. So now I asked what people heard, because what I heard was, you're not going to get on the boat. You're not going to get on a fucking boat with me. Fuck you, bro. That's what I heard. But I could be wrong. But I know that fuck you, bro, is what I heard for sure. And I know I heard fucking boat, and it sounded like with me, but I ain't hear that freaking with my freaking phone. And what the freak are you doing? And I didn't hear that. So I'm not going to say that's what I heard. And you could barely even hear that. But anyway, they want to know if the boat is a fake narrative, because Trayston Dunn came out and said it was him, and Javon confirmed that it's Trayston. Oh, did y'all see that? Did y'all see the CNN interview? Oh, baby, we gonna see the CNN interview, and we gonna read. I got a show in store for y'all. Let's finish with this first.
One of the things I will say, we are trying desperately to figure it out, and we don't profess to have all the answers, but boy, we're trying. And so when people call and tell us this is this person, and then we get somebody saying that no, this isn't that person, we're trying to balance it all. So we want to even be more careful ourselves to make certain that we're trying to get people to come forward. And there are a lot of people who have different perspectives. We're getting that just from the phone calls, that people who were there at the same time are saying different things. But we're going to get there. We're going to get to the truth.
So he's admitting that someone told him that that's what it said, and it's not actually what he heard for himself without coming out and saying that. He's not retracting his statement. I got a problem with that.
So first, I
Yes.
just want to say my deepest condolences to you, Christine and Elmore. My heart hurts. I'm breaking the guild, WLOX here at home. But I want to go on and ask you, Attorney Ben Crump, you say that you were talking about the process in there with the DA. Were any affidavits or possible prosecutions or criminal actions presented to her to be signed eventually, or do we know?
Yeah.
So they're asking, while they were in the meeting with the DA. Oh, let me pull up my phone because I don't know what happened, but thank you for supporting the channel, T. They're asking her what did the DA share with them while they were in there. Did they get any affidavits? Are there any criminal charges being filed? This is what they're asking. So I believe Ben Crump is going to answer that.
And as she said, her role is confidential, at this point, but so she can maintain her prosecutorial independence. Obviously, I stressed to her very strenuously to say, we want you to zealously, you and the sheriff's department, to zealously investigate this matter, and Christine and Elmore share their life experiences too. Um, we know through our lived experiences, our life experiences, that's, and she said that's not how our office operates, but we know in America, in the South, certain people are investigated differently.
Mm-hmm.
And we shared that with her. We didn't, ask that she understand our perspective, but we said we should mutually try to understand each other's perspectives, where we're coming from. And we agreed that we will try to do that.
Now, the grand jury process is usually kept quiet. You don't usually get to know. You might find out through the media who has shown up at the courthouse for a grand jury, like we did with the David case, where they were saying that the road manager was grand juried. His friend was extradited from out of state, and he was grand juried. But we don't know everyone that was grand juried. Oh, he threw me off a second. I was waiting on the affidavit answer. He's not answering that. I don't think that they'll be able to share any of the information that gets shared with them at this time. I'm not sure.
Where are we at in the investigation, the autopsy? We're supposed to get it back Friday.
Well, no, we like
They're asking him about the independent autopsy again.
we said, we're waiting, let the doctors do what they do. They ain't got their autopsy back neither.
So he's saying they're letting the doctors do what they do. Okay. Nobody has gotten their autopsy results back. He hasn't gotten the autopsy results back from the independent autopsy they're doing, and Mississippi has not gotten their autopsy results back either.
Trying to get it right, and then when we get it, we're going to share it. Yes, ma'am.
On Friday in the press conference, you said that you hear on the video Nolan saying,
yes,
my freaking phone.
So she's asking him about the video where he's saying, give me my freaking phone.
What are you freaking doing?
That's what a witness told us, and that's what we reported out. Then another witness had come forward and said, no, that was his voice. We have other witnesses who said there were other altercations. So as Mr. Hurt said, we're trying to go through it all. And so
a witness came forward and said that that's what he was saying. You know what I think is happening? And I'm being so freaking honest with y'all. I think what's happening is some of these people, some of these content creators or spectators to what's going on, are calling and telling them things. Right? But now you don't want to repeated it. And he said, now a witness done came forward and said it's his voice. Don't do that to Tristan. Don't do that to Tristan, because the mother never said Tristan was not a friend of Nolan's. What she said was the best friend line was a stretch. Childhood friend, I don't know him. We don't know him. He's never been to our home. We know Javon. We know Javon's family. And what she's saying is, for him to be a best friend, we would have to know him, which is true. Just like people keep trying to say that this Katie girl was his girlfriend. That's not his girlfriend. His mother said he didn't have a girlfriend. The girlfriend and the best friends go home to meet the family. That doesn't mean Nolan didn't have females that he was talking to. That does not mean that Tristan is not a friend of Nolan's. She's saying that he was not Nolan's best friend. But that also does not mean that in Tristan's eyes, Nolan was his best friend. So you can't take that away from him. But she never once denounced him as being a friend. Also, she never said that she never talked to him. People are out here, you doing press conferences and talking to people. Well, not press conferences, but you're doing interviews and you haven't talked to the family. He talked to the family. He told them what he knew. She had him speak to her legal team and to call the authorities. He spoke to the authorities. He gave them a statement. And now he came public and he said what he said. Period. But Trayston said, that is my voice. And I got to pull up the Rolling Stone article that I read the other day because he tells you what he's saying.
So forth. And we'll be even more careful to say, this is what a witness told us in the future.
Right. Do that.
No, we have audio people doing it, but we know certain people said it was him, and there certain people said it was not him.
Are you worried about the?
So we still trying to keep on to the narrative that it was Nolan, even though we have a trusted friend, according to the family, somebody who was Nolan's childhood friend, that is saying that that's Trayston on that video. And he identifies it as being Trayston, even though in the TMZ interview, he did not want to identify it as being Trayston. He didn't want to put his friend out there, but Trayston came out and spoke. And in that CNN interview, sitting in front of Ben Crump, his mother, and Nolan's mother, Javon said that that was Trayston. Javon would know who said what and what was going on because he was right there. Now, y'all, some of y'all may not like it, the way that I cover this case. And that's a you problem. So don't make it a me problem, because as sweet and as nice as I can be, y'all will find out quickly just how I can get down in the mud with you. So don't do it. Anybody that's thinking about knucking and bucking on their keyboard, don't do it. If you don't like it, the door. Come back later.
The death threats and the
Well,
violent kind of atmosphere on social media and how these fake videos and photos can play into
oh my God, I saw a fake video.
Friends getting death threats.
We don't want any.
So they're mentioning fake videos and photos going around and death threats being made to Nolan's friends.
Life to be in harm's way just because we're trying to get to the truth of what happened to Christine and Elmore's son. We saw fake videos about AI generated videos of Christine, and it's just god awful as they're grieving and trying to fight for the truth that they are also having to deal with these fake videos attacking them as they are just trying to literally bury their son next week. But we want everybody to say that we can go through this journey together for the truth. And even though we may have different viewpoints, we can all agree that everybody wants the truth.
Now, I agree with that. It doesn't matter your skin tone, your ethnicity, your religious background, your gender, any of that. The truth is the truth, and the truth don't care who tell it. Just like a lie don't care who tell it. Okay? But if you are really here for the truth, then you have to have an open mind to listen to things and put your emotions to the side and not just go off of what feels good or what plays on a sensation with you. You've got to be reasonable to listen to certain things. No, you don't believe Trayston. Hold on. He didn't say he thinks, but that's okay, because I'm going to play it. Say you don't believe Trayston. Don't say we don't believe Trayston. That's your opinion. Yeah, he sounded real unsure in the interview with his mother because his mother is sitting right there. But he ain't sound unsure in that TMZ interview. Now, did he, when he said that sounds like my friend? Don't worry. I'll play it for you. Because see, one thing I don't do is I don't run with what other people said. I do my own research. I sat for 4 hours yesterday digging and digging and digging. So Understand this. Just give me a chance before you go and you start getting into your mode. Hear me out. Hear me out. And maybe I might give you something to think about. I might show you something new. Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you might hear something that might make some sense to you. I'm a thinker. So I think outside the box, inside the box, and around the box.
And nobody life should be threatened for seeking the truth.
And I agree.
Nobody should be, presumed accountable until we have evidence.
Nobody should be being harassed until we have the truth, until we know what's going on. I don't promote violence, but I do promote justice. And I'm not against vigilante justice neither.
His mother and father only want, and Christine has said it multiple times, she only wants what you would want. Wouldn't you want desperately to get to the truth? Wouldn't you want people who were closest in proximity to what happened to be investigated and thoroughly investigated? We know that, if it was Nolan, how would he be investigated? So, one last question.
And I agree with that. And I think when people start feeling like we're doing too much, we're going too hard, why y'all keep talking about this? Why y'all keep doing this and this and this? Because if this shoe was on the other foot, Nolan would have been in cuffs. Nolan would have been in Click Click City, and he would have been fighting from behind bars. Nolan would not be home, protected by lawyers because they've lawyered up. Protected by a lawyer, chilling with his family. He'd have been in prison. He'd have been in jail, county jail, as they built this case. Not you bringing up Mercury retrograde. But you're right. It is Mercury retrograde. I will keep calm. Exactly. He would be guilty until proven innocent. So I agree with that. So we want the same. We want to see the same type of dog with a bone investigation go on for Nolan that would have gone on if it would have been Wyatt, Warren, or what's the other boy's name? It's Wyatt, Warren, and the other boy that was on the boat with them. Because we didn't had so many names that then came out. Let me tell you something. This Nolan Wells case, it's got so many characters. You got the Wyatt, you got the Warren. We've heard about an Evan. We've got a Jax. Evan is the other one. Okay, so it was Evan. We got Jax. You got Javon, Ethan. You got Katie, and you got two Katies. So you might as well put the two Katies in there. You got Alexis, who was coming out and speaking before. It's so many different people. You got Ashley Cole, who's the judge. You've got Sheriff Ledbetter, Ben Crump, the mama, the daddy, now the mama best friend, Tashima, Eric. It's so many names. And guess what? It's only going to get bigger and crazier because there were so many people out there on that island. Let's get that last question in so we can move on.
Quickly, just curious about the dynamic that you guys have had, Christine and Elmore, with law enforcement up until this point. Have you all been able to speak with the sheriff, any of the lead investigators since what happened?
So the person is asking what the dynamic has been. Have they spoken to the sheriff? Have they spoken with the investigators outside of today and Tuesday?
So that was actually clarified in today's meeting. The DA's office wanted to take over that communications because they do have a victim advocate, which I appreciate. But of course, that wasn't what she, took responsibility and accountability for. But we were not communicated with that information.
They did not know that there was a victim advocate that was on their case. And the DA is explaining things to them. Hey, Druvy.
So for us, like I said before, the last time we actually spoke to someone with the sheriff's department was last Tuesday. That was via text message that I initiated, just asking for an update. So that's the biggest thing is, I appreciate that she took accountability for saying, hey, that was actually our doing. But, we have a setup now. And so the hope is that we'll have that open lines of communication.
So what she's saying is the DA took accountability for dropping the ball with the victim advocacy. Mr. Crump. Please make sure that you are marking that down. That they've dropped the ball on the victim advocacy. Should you need to pull that out the bag later on?
And Attorney Hertz has a comment on that there.
Let me just say that under the law in Mississippi, a victim is entitled within, I think it's 72 hours to get an incident report and have certain information shared. It's been more than 72 hours.
They have gotten no victim report. They have gotten no information that they are entitled to as the victim in this situation.
And that's part of the meeting here today, to start getting the incident report and all that information that we came here to collect, as well as listen to the district attorney and what she had to say.
Did you get that report?
No, not yet. We are working with them to say there need to be better communications with the clients and so forth.
So they walked up out of the DA's office without having that information today. Now I'm gonna say this: I wouldn't have walked up out of there without that. You gonna hand that over to me today? You dropped the ball on it before. I will stay right here and I will wait for you all to get that together and pass it over to me. I wouldn't have left without it. That's just me. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is I wouldn't have walked out of that DA's office without having what I'm supposed to have in my hand. Because y'all have already shown me you took accountability, cool. But you have already shown me that you do not possess the capabilities to be able to stay on task. So now I need to show you how vigilant I am and how I'm going to make sure I do my due diligence from this point forward. And I'm going to make sure that you hand over what you're supposed to hand over to me because it's overdue. If I should have been had it, you should have been had it ready when I walked up in this meeting with you. You should have slid that across the counter to me, across the desk to me and said, I apologize that I dropped the ball and we didn't get the victim advocacy set up for you within the 72 hours that it was supposed to be. But we're working on it. You're going to have your communication, this, and this. And by the way, here is everything that you were supposed to have from day one. See, that's how you show me you're on your job. That's how you show me that the fix ain't in. Because now I'm side-eyeing the hell out of the DA's office.
The big things that we know, there's going to be a grand jury into the death of Nolan Wells. And number two, that we're going to have a mutual inspection of Nolan's cell phone. We just want to make sure everybody else's cell phone is also being downloaded. Thank you.
That part. If you want Nolan's cell phone, let me make sure you got everybody else's cell phone too. Okay? Now, over the course of yesterday, when I was over on my IG Live, I was digging into Ben Crump. Okay? And so, given that they spoke heavily about the social media posts and things that were going on, I am now going to give you what she say? She said, how much longer for the autopsy? What is the process that happens that makes them take so long sometimes? The toxicology reports. They're waiting on toxicology reports. Toxicology reports can take weeks. Sometimes they take days, sometimes they take weeks. So they're waiting on toxicology, and that's what's holding up the process. The autopsy has already been done. That is why the body was released to the family, and the family was able to send the body to DC to the private investigators for them to be able to do the autopsy that they are going to do on the body as well. So it's toxicology reports that usually hold them up. They don't want their kids to be held accountable for unaliving our loved ones. We won't go away. I agree. The phones is going to expose the truth. That is a fact. Now, I want to know before we get started with anything else. You're welcome. Before we get started with anything else, I want to go back and I want to pose a question. I asked this question earlier in a video, and I'm going to play the video for y'all from my Instagram page because I have this question and it needs to be answered. And I think we all have this question right here. I already asked this question one time before, but I'm going to ask it again because nobody seems to have an answer. Which one of these girls is Katie McCormick? Does anybody know? Because I done looked on TikTok, Facebook, and the only one that I found on Facebook was this one. So which Katie is it, y'all? Because that ain't a mystery to nobody. Ain't nobody wondering which one it is. Because we done seen both of these girls posted up as the Katie McCormick that Nolan was talking to on Horn Island. So somebody let me know who we looking at. Because until we get that part down, we still in the dark about who the hell Katie is and who she talking to. Who has she been talking to? People saying that Katie done said this and Katie done said that.
Or like Katie, the girl who they're like, yeah, he went to find some girl. She's like, whoa, whoa,
She's
whoa,
like,
whoa.
I met him 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Whoa, hang on.
And her story hasn't changed.
Where did Katie say this? And which Katie said it? Because I'm tired. I want to know. Which one would the real Katie please stand up? I already asked this question one time before. We still don't have an answer as to which Katie it is. Now, what I want y'all to do for me, was he watching your IG live yesterday? Because everything you talked about yesterday, he's speaking on in this press conference. I don't know, Ruby Reds. I asked that question. I said, maybe he has somebody that's spying. And what I'm saying actually made sense. I don't know. Just like I said, did they watch my video of me demanding that they do a press conference when I called out Sheriff Ledbetter and I called out the Mississippi ME's office and said, we need the coroner's report and you need to address the press? And he came on out and he addressed the press. I said, well, damn, did he watch? Not to make my head seem bigger, like I'm bigger than what I am, because I already know how y'all do. Y'all have it out here. Y'all make it seem like, I'm right up there with Don Lemon. And I'm not. Don don't even know who I am. Shout out to DL Hughley because he liked my stuff and I think he started following me. Shout out to DL Hughley. That's such a major honor. Shout out to Dr. Candace Matthews. She follows me as well. That is such an honor to have people that I report on actually follow and like stuff. So that's a salute. But I'm not that big, you guys. I'm not that big. Not yet, anyway. So yeah, I asked that question. Now, list of suspects. Before we get into anything else, I'm going to tell y'all who my list of suspects are, because people are hung up on just these friends, right? Everybody wants to know what's up with these friends. I know I look so plain Jane. What's up with these friends, right? And while we're focusing on the friends that were on the boat, and while people are fighting over the validity of who's a friend and who was not considered to be a friend, who's the best friend, and woo, I feel like there's people that we're not looking at as well. And one of them is the person I keep asking about. Who is this person? And that would be Katie. Okay. Now, according to Nolan's mom, Katie, she said to authorities, I didn't realize I had this background up. Hold on. Why y'all ain't tell me, Henny, you mismatching and you looking a little crazy today? Why y'all ain't have me proper? Anyway, it's okay. While we are all fighting over, those people, Katie, the mom has said that Katie already made her statement to the police. Everybody, including Javon, has said that Nolan was talking to a girl. I can show you better than I can tell you. Hold on, let me get to my phone so I can send it to myself while I talk to y'all. Everybody, including Javon, has said that Nolan was talking to a girl. Hopefully, it shows for y'all. Is this it? Yep, this is it. Hopefully, it shows for y'all. If it doesn't, guess what? I have the screenshots of it just in case. Okay. But nobody knows who the hell Katie is. You have one girl being posted up and Katie this and Katie that, and the other girl being posted up and it's Katie this and Katie that. And we have yet to find out who Katie really is. Okay. Now, I'm not planning on going over there, and I don't think I need that window open because, we get the janky stuff. What about the Trayston guy? We're going to get into Trayston, but I know that the family in the Griot interview was upset, and Ben Crump they're not taking too kindly to people saying that Nolan stayed behind to talk to this girl. And I've seen a couple people online asking questions about this girl. They're saying, oh, I don't even believe that there was a girl there. No, there was a girl there. Okay. There was a girl there. Let me go ahead. Let me get this screen up for y'all so y'all can see it for yourselves. And I'm going to put myself over here. All right. Let me go ahead and let me do this as well. Give me a moment. Okay, we're going to move that. No. I need this. Oh, now it's not allowing me to move it? Okay. Well, maybe that one. That don't want to work. All right. So they were upset, and Ben Crump was making it a point to say in that Griot interview that Trayston, the friends are saying that Trayston wasn't a real friend, XYZ, right? Well, let's get on over here. I'm going to read this to y'all. Don't worry, I'm going to read this to y'all. Wells visited with a girl, Williams said, but also chatted with other friends in the crowd. So Katie exists. She does exist. So for those who feel like Katie didn't exist, it was a lie, Katie does exist. There was a girl Nolan was talking to, and that came from Javon. Katie is not off the hook with me. Okay? She's not off the hook with me at all. She's not. She's a suspect. Katie needs to be thoroughly investigated, whichever one it is. Don't even know which one it is, Miss Capricorn. We still don't have that information. Okay? The 3 boys on the boat are suspects to me. Why those 4 people? Because those 4 people are the last people to see Nolan, right? Trayston saw Nolan. Javon saw Nolan. those 6 individuals right there. And the fact that Javon has not been questioned. He said he has not spoken to investigators. They have not come. They have not spoken to him. Is awing when these people give accounts of being the last people to see him alive. Let me explain. I'm not vilifying anybody. I'm not throwing anybody in the fire or under a frying pan, but hear me out. By their own omissions, they have each said the last time they saw Nolan. The boys on the boat say the last time that they saw Nolan was at 3 p.m. Katie says the last time she saw Nolan, he said he was leaving to go get on the boat with his friends. Right? Allegedly. All of this is alleged and according to them. Javon says the last time he saw Nolan, he puts him on the island around 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's after the boys have left. Trayston says Nolan was on the island when the altercation happened. Remember, he told Good Morning America that he was just off the camera in the water. But he was not up on the island with them. What happened? Javon talked to TMZ before talking to the cops. Is crazy work. The cops haven't even questioned him. At that point, we don't know what's happened now. These are people that should be talked to. Now, Trayston says that he talked to the police. The sheriff says that, I believe it was the sheriff that said that he spoke to them on Monday, and then talked to them on Friday. Stop downplaying yourself and give yourself credit. Thank you. I will. So those are people that are called persons of interest in an investigation. For people who don't know, most of us are grown, but we still have youngins that watch. Okay. There's youngins that do watch this channel. So yeah, they're people of interest. They're people that investigators should have sat down with, gotten their statements. The Judge Carlos Moore, has said that affidavits and search warrants should have gone out already. Search warrants should have definitely gone out for phone records, because especially that Katie girl's phone. Because if what these people are saying, now let me tell you the only plausible thing, because we all keep asking, why would he leave his phone behind? That just does not make sense to me. Well, maybe Javon can help us with that. Let me get Javon back up here for y'all, because maybe Javon can answer that question for me. And I'm not putting him in the hot seat. I'm just giving y'all the information as I get it. So remember when Javon did that TMZ interview and he said the Sun Herald? That got me to looking. And I came up with the Sun Herald interview that was done July 6th at 3:05 p.m. That is around the time that Nolan Wells' body was found out there on Horn Island. All right. So it says, let me get my glasses on because we reading, y'all. We reading. All right. So this says, friends streamed to the water side at the Lake Mars boat launch, where they consoled the family of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells of Ocean Springs after a body matching his description was found off the western tip of Horn Island, where he was last seen on a crowded beach on July 4th. Okay. So now let's get down to where Javon starts talking. All right. Wells headed to Horn Island on Saturday with friends. His best friend, 17-year-old Javon Williams, said he was supposed to be on the same boat, but it filled up. Williams rode out on a different boat, but saw Wells on the island. He believes he saw Wells for the last time at 4 p.m. Saturday. 4 p.m. Saturday. All right. This is where he says Wells visited with a girl, Williams said, but also chatted with friends in the crowd. As soon as we got there, Williams said, he told me that he loved me. Wells always had Williams back. If somebody talked bad about Williams, Wells stuck up for his friend. Both men, listen here, Both men left their phones on the boat that Wells rode out on. Stop. So, Nolan's phone and Javon's phone are on the same boat, which is the boat that Nolan rode to the island on. All right. Williams later retrieved his phone while Wells's mother found her son's phone through location services. Hans says. Now, Hans is another person who spoke in this interview, and that was somebody who was like a grandmother to Nolan. Okay, but I'm gonna go back through that again. Both of them left their phones on the boat, the same boat that Nolan rode to the island on. Javon got his phone later. When is later? Did you retrieve your phone once the boat made it back to the island? Did you leave your phone on the boat as well? And you had to get your phone when you returned to the mainland? That's a question that I have. Again, this is not against anybody, but I have questions. And when I have questions, I'm going to put these questions out there. Okay? He retrieved his phone later, and Nolan's mother found Nolan's phone through the location services. And we all know that the phone turned up at Wyatt's house. Okay. Wells was last seen near the western tip of Horn Island, where the location, where the current is strong. Okay. So Trace Carter, which is the other person, other friend that was talking, said that, the last conversation he had with Nolan, he told him to just hit him up when he got back to the island and to be careful and watch himself. And Nolan said that he would. But this right here is not being brought up. So in the Sun Herald, on the day that Nolan's body was found, Javon is saying, my phone was on the same boat with Nolan's phone. Or at least that's what this Hans person is saying. Now, who is Hans? Let's read. Doris Hans was a grandmother to the childhood friends, which would be Nolan and Javon. Okay. Like the others, Wells called her Mama D. She said that he always gave her a hug and minded his manners. He was a good person, Hans said, loved sports and kind-hearted. He would have celebrated his 19th birthday in August. All right. Then she goes on to say that it really, really hurts, Hans said, who has awaited word since Saturday evening when Wells failed to return from the island after the first day and no contact. I expected this. So this is who this lady, Doris Hans, is. And Doris Hans, excuse me, let me correct myself. Javon didn't tell this. Doris Hans told the story of how both of their phones were on the same boat, and Javon retrieved his phone later, and Nolan's phone ended up being tracked down by his mother. Just saying. Now, we've already seen the TMZ interview. I'm going to give y'all the CNN interview where Javon and his mother, Tashima, speak in this interview.
First of all, but also agonizing to think that has been that much time having passed. I mean, Javon, I want to come to you because you're his friend.
Well, you know what? Let me not do y'all like that. Let's watch the whole interview. Okay. Let's watch the whole thing. This is from Laura Coates Live, CNN. Okay.
Why didn't he return on the boat? And why didn't he have his phone with him? Nolan's mother, Nolan's friend and attorney, Benjamin Crump. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home. Those words from Christine Wansley came just days after her 18-year-old baby was mysteriously found dead. Nolan Wells was found in the water near an island where he had taken a boat trip with friends on the 4th of July. And tonight, new clues are emerging as to how he separated from the group. One of his friends says that he met a girl and decided to stay behind.
They met.
Okay, let me let that play.
That day, and it was kind of one of those things. He did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out was at Horn Island on July 4th.
So let me give you my theory on that really quickly before we get any further into this, and I forget to give it to y'all. So we've all been asking that question as to why would he stay behind? Why would he leave his phone on the boat? Well, according to what Trayston has said, according to what Javon has said, it looks like it's common for people to leave their phones on the boat. The boats are docked out from what we saw in the video where the person was yelling and the altercation was happening. None of those boats were up on the shore. They were all away from the shoreline. And from the way it looks, you got to get off the boat and you have to swim or walk over to the island in order to get to land. That's what it looks like. And so when you put that into motion and everybody's phones are on the boat, okay? Trayston's uncle, I believe, we're going to pull the Rolling Stones article up as well, has talked about how he gets home and after he's been out there, there's phones left on his boat and people have to contact him to get said phones back. Okay. I have the Rolling Stone article up so that I can show you, even though we've read this in the previous video. If you were here for that one, then you know that we've already we've already covered this. Hold on. Let me share this with y'all. I don't know why my computer is acting janky. Maybe I need to empty some of this information out. Okay. There we go. I probably need to like wipe my computer clean. All right. So let's get to in the video. Okay. In that video, you hear somebody yelling. That's me. It's me yelling. My exact words is, get me off this fucking boat. I wanted to fight and I felt like I hadn't had my fair share. Get me off this fucking boat is what he's saying he said. And this is the video. Now, this is what I'm saying right here. If you look, the boats are not close to the water. I mean, to the shore. Now, look where the shoreline is. I don't see, you know what I also don't see in this video? I don't see anybody else with a phone in their hand that's in the water or on the shore. I see no one else with their phone out. Do you see anybody else with a phone out? Anybody? From what we're seeing. Okay. So, to the point that I'm making, nobody else seemed to have a phone at that point in time in their hand. Nobody had their phone out doing this, recording. Nobody was doing this. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing this. You don't see any of it. You know why? According to Google, Horn Island does not have cell phone service. And according to the sheriff, the cell phone service out there that they do have, it's shoddy. So nobody has a cell phone. Exactly. The only people that look to have their phones are on the boats. All right. Now, let me keep scrolling down here. Now, I know people are like, well, that's his uncle. I don't believe nothing that he said. But you know what? When you start putting that in your head, then you're not expanding to be able to even understand what could possibly be, right? And so, like I said, I'm like, okay, well, why wouldn't he have his phone? Because that really bothered the hell out of me. Someone said that the water, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Druvy said, water is about 3 feet deep at the point of where them boats are anchored. Thank you very much for that information. Did not know that. The video was centered around Wells' death. Ben Crump. That altercation. It just sounds like my other friend who got into another altercation on the boat. Javon Williams told TMZ about the video. As he was in the altercation, I was trying to calm him down. They were trying to get him out off the island, trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it. The parents on the boat were trying to get him out. So that's where Trayston's uncle comes into play. But what I'm trying to do is find where the uncle spoke, because I read that about the phones being left on the boat the other day. And I'm hoping that it's in this article. Okay. So y'all are asking about the altercation. Do I need to read this again? I'm going to read it again. All right. So a moment that starts out as a disagreement between Trayston Shepard and his girlfriend has been at the center of a swirl of questions about the tragic death of 18-year-old Mississippi football player Nolan Wells. So for those who are asking, which I really shouldn't be reading this again, but I am, because it goes with what I'm saying. Trayston was having an argument with his girlfriend at first, okay? The video posted on social media of a group of young people seemingly in a heated altercation has been believed to be the last time Wells was pictured or heard on video before his disappearance and death, which has made national news. But Shepard, which is Trayston, a close friend of Wells, says what really happened in the video isn't how it's been portrayed. At around 3:30 p.m., okay? This is why I said Trayston as well, person of interest, okay? At around 3:30 a.m. on July 4th, Shepard says that he was with a large group of friends from high school, including Wells, to celebrate the holiday. Shepard and his family took the boat over to Horn Island, a barrier island off the coast of Mississippi, where he planned to meet up with Wells and some other friends from high school. The friends often took the 45-minute ride over to Horn Island on weekends to hang out and had been there since that morning. So if you remember, Nolan and them arrived at 10 a.m. Javon says he arrived around 11. All right. So Shepard says that he was waist deep in the water surrounding Horn Island, having a disagreement with his girlfriend that afternoon when a young man his age walked by and criticized their conversation. The man was an acquaintance from a nearby town who had not come over on the boat with Shepard or Wells. So even though they know him, they don't know him. All right. I told him he needed to mind his business. Shepard 20 told me Saturday. A week after the disagreement, Shepard says the exchange became heated and that he and the other man ended up getting into a physical altercation. Shepard's uncle, who had raised him like a father, told Shepard to get out of the water and onto his boat so they could head back home. Same thing that Javon was saying. They were trying to get him off the island. Shepard complied, but once he got on the boat, he changed his mind and decided he wanted to go back. Shepard's friends had by that point begun defending him back on shore. Around that time, another adult on a nearby boat started filming the video, later posting it on social media after news of Wells's disappearance broke. In the video, you hear somebody yelling, "That's me," Shepard says. "It's me yelling my exact words, 'Get me off this fucking boat.' I wanted to fight, and I'd felt like I hadn't had my fair share." All right. Shepard's girlfriend says she had gone over to the beach when the altercation moved there, and Shepard's uncle says a group of older adults stepped in and broke up the fight between the younger adults on shore. Shepard's girlfriend and uncle corroborate his story, as did a family friend who can be seen in the video trying to calm Shepard down. He wanted to get off the boat and go fight the dude who he got into it with, says the family friend, who asked not to be named. Nobody knows what Trayston was saying better than me because he was screaming in my face. Once the Wells story began making headlines, the grainy video quickly went viral. People online speculated that Wells was one of the people standing in the group, seemingly in a heated discussion. Wells was last seen wearing blue swim trunks like a young man in the group. Shepard says the man in the video, who people thinks is Wells, is too short to be his 6'2" friend. He says Wells is not shown in the video at all, that he was just out of frame hanging out in the water. Shepard has been speaking with law enforcement since Wells went missing. Shepard has been speaking with law enforcement since Wells went missing. Shepard has been speaking with law enforcement since Wells went missing and gave his full version of the events of that day and of the video to local police on Friday, July 10th. Shepard has been speaking with law enforcement since Wells went missing and gave his full version of events of the day and of the video to local police officers on Friday, July 10th. Shepard also says he communicated with Wells' family as well. I don't know if people just don't want to hear because minds are fixed and made up on what situations are. But since, I know how people can get, let me go ahead and let me do this for y'all. Because it's crazy how people are sitting back and they're saying that he hasn't spoken to the family. And there it is. He has spoken to the family. It's in the Rolling Stones article. He told Rolling Stones that. He told Good Morning America that. And you know who else said that? Don't worry. Hold on. Let me go back to my first question that I posed as to who is Katie. This is what the mom said.
And what you guys are going through. So yeah, but we don't know. We've never met Katie. I've never seen her in my life. She did reach out to me initially, just saying basically like it was a hey and bye type situation. And I was like, that's not what I'm getting from other people. So like I said, before.
Katie has reached out to the mom and said that it was a hey and bye type of thing. But the mom is not buying Katie's story that it was just a hey and a goodbye type of thing. Okay? The mom is not buying it either. I just thought I would point that out because on my quest of who is Katie, that gives me ammunition to keep going. Now that I've said that out loud, watch how many people start going after who is Katie.
We have an investigation to, if they haven't, you all do activating your level of scrutiny about people.
His best friends are, it's unclear. Like I said,
explanation for how the cell phone ended up in someone else's hands. Elmore, Christine, do you know?
So it's unclear. Like
Like,
hold on, because I need to get to the point that I want.
Were there have been silent. We saw he was yelling in one of the viral videos, Nolan's passing, and how
best friend,
There we go.
best friend, childhood friend.
of what happened.
So first of all, we don't know Tristan. We've never met him.
We don't know Tristan. We've never met him.
So to say, you know, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch.
That's a bit of a stretch. That does not say, I don't know him, so he's not one of Nolan's friends. It's saying, to say you're a best friend, I don't know you, and we don't know your family, so I wouldn't say best friend. That's what that's giving.
We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Now, if you were to say that about Jalen or Javon, I would say absolutely. You could say that those are childhood friends. Those are best friends.
And I agree. Like I said in the beginning of this video, best friends, we know the best friends as parents. We know the best friends' parents as well. We have a relationship. As a matter of fact, my daughter was best friends, my oldest, with 3 triplets, a set of triplets that she went to school with from kindergarten all the way to her senior year of high school. And me and her, their mother was like this, to the point where we celebrated one another, getting those girls across the stage and to their prom. Okay, because we knew one another. Her girls stayed the night at my house. They damn near lived with me at one point in time. I had communication. So I agree. Not a best friend, but she still never said not a friend.
Because they've been to our home. We know their family. We're close to, you know, their mother. But this young man, I maybe high school, you know, they started hanging out or, you know, kind of been around each other.
And that's true because Tristan, hold on. That's how you know I wasn't ready for today. Tristan actually says in his ABC interview that was written up on Monday that they met in high school. And he put that out before this interview even went out. His interview with ABC came out, the write-up on Monday morning. This was on Monday evening. Excuse me. Let's continue.
Again, we don't know him. And not to discount anything he has said,
not to discount anything that he has said. So she's saying, I'm not saying that he's not a best friend to say that he's lying. Thank you. Saying that I'm not discounting someone's what they're saying is not calling them a liar. And the reason that I'm harping on this right now is because that's the narrative that is being spun right now. They're saying that the mother is the one who said that that's not the friend and da-da-da-da, and that's not the case. She never said that he was not a friend. She was just denouncing the whole thing of him being Nolan's best friend.
Of course, still trying to rule those things out. But I mean, he has communicated.
And the things that they're trying to rule out, they're trying to rule out what Tristan has said to them as far as, and you can get this from what they're saying and the points that get focused on. The point is, Christine and Elmore Walmsley, Nolan Wells's parents, do not take him staying behind with the girl as a valid portion of this storyline. Oh, I never gave y'all that. Before we go any deeper, let me give y'all that portion of things. All right. So here's my theory. I done showed y'all. Thank you. I done showed y'all the video of the boats in the water. And that was for a reason. The video of the boats in the water just kind of combined with everything. When I've got so much going on up here and I don't have it organized, y'all kind of get these everywhere type of videos from me. And I apologize. But my theory is this. If there were so many of their friends out there with them, if there was another boat that his friends were on, if there was another boat, according to Trayston, there was a bunch of them that was out there. Now I know y'all are probably like, I don't believe Trayston. Just listen. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Give me a chance and hear me out. If they've all left their boats on if they've all left their phones on the boat and they're on shore, and let's say that Nolan did like this girl and they were having a conversation, and hypothetically speaking, because we don't know until the investigation comes out whether it's true or not that the boat had some type of mechanical issue and had to go back. Because what I don't understand is, why would they leave at 3 p.m. if the boat was not having an issue? If they're out there to celebrate the 4th of July, was there some type of fireworks that were going on? Because if they're out there for the 4th of July, hold on. Okay, so there are no official permitted firework displays on Horn Island. For public displays, you can watch organized shows along the nearby Mississippi Gulf in cities like Ocean Springs, Biloxi, or the Gulf. So can you see them? Okay, 4th of July celebration at Horn Island and Pelican Cay. All right, hold on. Let's see. Okay, so here's some people. I don't know who this is, but this is their post, and we're going to be nosy. And when was this? This was on July 6th. So these people were out there. Look at how we just stumbled onto something, y'all. So these people were out there on Horn Island the same day, on the boat with their phones, okay? That's on land. That doesn't look like that's Horn Island. I guess this is the Pelican Cay portion, where they were at Pelican Cay, but hey, that's not what I was looking for, but that's what we got. Wonder if those people know anything. Just asking. But it doesn't look like there is any official fireworks show, so I guess that doesn't, but still, like, I don't know. This is from the Biloxi Politics. Okay. Law enforcement. Nope. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to what I was saying. If they were leaving and Nolan was engaged in a conversation with a female and he wasn't ready to leave, it wouldn't be hard to believe that he would say that I'll catch a ride with so and so. I'm right behind you. In fact, I read that somewhere, that's what he said, that he was going to ride in with his other friends and that he was right behind them. My suspicions still go back to Katie. If he planned to get on another boat and be right behind the boat, then it's possible. Hell, I can't use my phone out here anyway. I'm going to meet up with them back on land. Possible. I'm just giving a possibility. I'm not saying that's what happened. Yes, you can see the fireworks. Thank you very much, Michelle. She said you can see the fireworks. She said the Biloxi fireworks show was at 8:30 and Gulfport followed after. So yeah, why would you leave if there wasn't something happening with the boat? Why would you leave at 3 p.m.? Most people are going to stay for the fireworks. But then again, maybe they have to be off the island by a certain time. Navigating boats in the dark is not a easy task from what I'm understanding, just looking around, because I'm not a boater. I don't know. Trayston and all the kids getting harassed, so he has no benefit from coming out and admitting that that's him, except that it'll steer the investigation away from BS. Yeah, but didn't they have his keys as well as his phone? Okay, so Droovy, let me clear that up for you. The phone was at Wyatt's house with Wyatt. Wyatt is one of the boys who was on the boat with Nolan. The keys was at Jax's house. The reason the keys were at Jax's house is because Nolan stayed the night at Jax's house from the 3rd into the 4th. His car was there. His keys were there because that's where they left from to go to the boat. So the keys and the phone were in 2 separate places. Did they name the other friend Nolan mentioned to get a ride with? No, he just said with his other friends, allegedly. This is allegedly. But I'm asking y'all, especially the dudes that are in here, if you're talking to a female and you're out with your homeboys and it's a bunch of y'all out there and the set of homeboys that you with is leaving, but you feeling this girl, are you going to leave the girl or are you going to say, I'll catch a ride with them? Y'all are saying nope, but I can tell you for a fact, I've been the girl that they've caught in a ride with the other homeboys for. I've been the girl. So y'all are different. You ain't being stranded. Listen to the question. The question was, you're out there with your homeboys. It's a bunch of y'all out there. I've been the girl. So while y'all sitting here saying no, that's a goddamn lie because dudes do it all the time. And it ain't a matter of being tender. It's a matter of really feeling somebody. That's why I want to know, which Katie is it? Which Katie was he feeling? Because that'll give us some insight into some things. Thank you. No, they didn't call about the keys, but they called to find out if he was there. I'm not a heartbreaker, but I'm just saying. Exactly. Miss Lisa, please let them know because they out here fronting in these internet streets. I've been the girl that they have left. That go ahead, dude. I'm gonna ride with so and so. Boy, bye. You want to stick to the narrative. We came together, we leave together. Yeah. That happens until you really feeling a vibe with a female. And girl, it don't even gotta be old men. Because a grown-ass man is gonna stay and feel if they feeling the vibe. He said no fold to call for transpo. You're putting yourself in this situation. You're on an island with a celebration. Your phone is on the boat. Everybody's phone is on the boat. You ain't thinking about no phone. You talking to this girl. Y'all out there chilling, having a good time. You feel this girl. You catch a vibe. They talking about leaving. You looking around. You like, yo, I'll just catch a ride with them. Child, they fronting like hell. You see this, Miss Lisa? Oh, Kristen, do you see this? Ladies, do y'all see this? Now show me the money. I ain't even get to that part yet because yeah. Now, allegedly, I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it at. I'm sorry, but I heard, and y'all tell me if y'all heard. It ain't desperate for coochie. You just ain't never felt the girl. You ain't never got smacked with that boom doom. You ain't never got that woo put on you where you just feeling the vibe. You having a good conversation with this person, or you just really caught a vibe. There's more to being attracted to somebody than just some coochie. Hey, Bree Bree. So I want to know, who is it that he was supposed to ride back with? Who were they? Okay, peanut butter. Please let them know they lying. Y'all are lying. And we're speaking in a hypothetical. We are speaking in a hypothetical because everyone keeps asking the question, but don't nobody want to really talk the truth. We're going to talk the goddamn truth over here, okay? Because at the end of the day, baby, that's a possibility. If all of these classmates came together for one last hurrah, before they went back to school, before they had to go back to work, if all of them came together for one last hurrah, and part of that hurrah, he ended up meeting this girl, liking this girl, catching a vibe with this girl, they got to leave because something happened. And okay, I'm going to ride back. I'm just throwing names out there. I'm not, because these are the only other people we know that were out there by name. I'm going to ride back with Javon and Tristan. Ooh, the plot thickens. What if he didn't tell Javon and Tristan that he planned to ride back with them? What if he was talking to Katie and one of Katie's family members saw him talking to her, and we talking about Mississippi, and Katie is a white person? What if the family felt the way? This is why we got to wait until the autopsy comes back. But Katie is not in the clear with me. Thank you, D Silver, for thinking outside the box with me, along with everybody else that's thinking outside. Thank you for thinking outside the box with me. It's not that hard to get another ride in this situation. Everyone is in what's known as vacation mode. Hey, Miss Pammy. She said, I see what you're saying, but these kids don't leave their phones either. But he already didn't have his phone. He did not have his phone. Nobody had their phone. Nobody had their phone. Hypothetical. That's what I was going to say, Henny. You on it. Possibly Katie. Exactly. This is a hypothetical situation. I'm not saying that this is what happened. It's a hypothetical possibility. And it's just, everybody is asking, well, why would he stay behind for this girl? Why would he leave his phone? I'm giving y'all a hypothetical possibility. I was doing what guys did back in my younger days. They lying, but they called me a 304. Well, Miss Lisa, we ain't calling you that over here because we listen and we don't judge. Oh, y'all excuse us, Swagger, a proper young virgin. Right. He a proper young virgin. Definitely possible. What if someone none of them knew did something to him because he was with that girl? Exactly. 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 And I posed this question to my Instagram yesterday. I said, what if it comes back because the water was all, the water was 87 degrees that day. There was strong currents. There was rip tides and undertows going on. The water was rough that day. And there's drop-off points. If you don't know what a drop-off point is, and we've all experienced it if you get in the water at the beach, where you're walking and all of a sudden the floor is gone. That's a drop-off point. You just strolling, choo-doo-doo. Let me do it. Choo-doo-doo. And then bloop, there's no floor. And if you get swept under in that, you're going under. You're not coming back up. You're going under. And the more you fight, the further you're going to go down because you're sucked in. What if it comes back that that's what happened and everybody is out here not looking at all the possibilities, just here, honing in on these three boys? Again, hypothetical possibility, not something I'm saying is a fact. I'm asking questions. If you've ever hit a drop off at the beach, it's the scariest shit in your life because the floor just disappears. And the ocean is unforgiving. Even if it come back, he just drowned. It's the way it was. Yes, I agree with, listen. I am 1000% with you. I'm 1000% with you. Because even if that was what happened, why didn't you Turn over those car keys immediately. But then again, this brings me to my next point. Oh, let me finish out this video and then let me get to my next point that I'm going to make about Trayston and the friends. Okay.
Communicated. He did offer his condolences, which we appreciate. And he did let me know about that tidbit, which of course, you know, like I've been telling everyone, if you have any information, forward that over to the local authorities. Make sure also forward that over to our legal team as well, just to make sure that we're looking at everything.
So again, to go back to this narrative that everybody is saying that Trayston never spoke, he's not talking to the family, but he's talking to the press. You have Christine out here saying that she spoke to him. So let's review for a second when it comes to Trayston and his status as a friend and whether or not he's talking to authorities. Number one, Christine has told us, if you don't want to believe him, Christine has told us that he has spoken to her. She has directed him to authorities and the legal team. Number two, Ben Crump has said that the witness, which is Trayston, called them and told them that it's him. That's what he said in the press conference earlier, that Trayston told them that it's him. Okay, so he has done that. Number four, she's never denounced him as a friend. She just said he is not a best friend. Maybe somebody he met in high school, which I'm actually going to show y'all that is what Trayston has said, that he met him in high school. But now let me pull this up for y'all really quickly so that we can listen to what the parents had to say about this and what the dad said. Because as parents, we don't always know all of our kids' friends. I think we can all agree to that. We don't know all of the friends and the associates, but what we do know is we do know the best friends. Okay? Is this it? Oh, I got to go to the video. I forgot. I don't know what happened to that video, but okay, so let's pull this up.
Who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was and then provided that to us because we of course contacted authorities to figure out who to do the report with.
Hold on. Keisha, they don't make drop-off points. The drop-off points is a part of what happens naturally in the ocean. So when you're on the beach, when they tell you that it's low tide, if you pay attention to the shoreline, you can actually tell where the tide normally rolls in at because you'll see a line on the sand. When it's low tide, especially, and you're walking out into the water, there's a part in the ocean where it dips. You never know where a drop-off is going to happen. So it's not something that's made. It just is a natural occurring thing. And you don't know where they are unless you know those waters. You know, like people who are local to an area, they know where the drop-off points are kind of in that water. You can judge where it is. Like, okay, wait a minute. When the shoreline is here and it's here on me, that drop-off is over there. But like when I was at the beach on the 4th of July, the water was very choppy because we had just had a storm the day before. The water was still choppy. The waves were crashing in and the waves were very violent. They knocked me off my feet and almost pulled me in the water. So I had to get away from where the waves were crashing to the shoreline. And where I was, it was above my waist, just below my breast. So I'm in the water and I'm chilling, but the water current is so strong that when the wave comes in, it's pushing me in. And as the tide rolls back out, it's pushing me out. And this time I happened to be pushed a little further out and I went from feeling the floor to not feeling the floor. And I panicked for a second and then I just relaxed my body. And as the next wave came in, I let it roll me back towards the shore. Like, I don't know. Have you guys ever noticed how strong the water currents are in the water? Like, how many times have you been at the beach and your stuff is here? And so you go on down into the water and you're right here. But as you've been in the water for some time, somehow you end up way over here or you end up way over here and your stuff is still here, but you done, because the water has been pushing you. So the water is very unpredictable. It's very unpredictable. But let's continue, because the dad is gonna make a point for me when I say we don't know all of our children's friends.
It was the county or the city, which then turned into to him. The boys were actually with her sons. So
The guy he's in one of the pictures. He came out of the room half sleep or whatever, I think Jax or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys.
Did you hear what he said? Jax came out with his hair all whatever. He was half asleep. And he said, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his car or his vehicle. Jax is one of the kids that's in the photograph. Jax is one of the kids that's considered to be Nolan's friend. Jax is the one whose home he stayed the night at. If I go further back in this video, the mother says the last time she saw Nolan, he cooked salmon, he baked salmon. He was so proud of it. He gave her a kiss, he gave her a hug, and he went to Jack's house because they were leaving from Jack's house to go to Horn Island the next day. So this is a friend that Nolan stayed the night at their house, left his vehicle at their house, and rode out to Horn Island with. This was not a best friend, but it was a friend. And I said all of that and showed this to say Nolan had friends that were not his best friends, that his family did not know. Because if you knew them and they knew you, you would not have to say, I am Nolan's father. They would know that. And I'm not saying that to say anything bad. I'm saying that to say, as a parent, you do not know all of your children's friends. And in this situation, people are dragging it because she said, we don't know him. We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Apparently, Jax has never met them, and Jax has never been to their home. Yet Nolan was staying the night at their house, left his vehicle there, and went on a boat to an island with him. Again, I'm not saying that to say anything negative against the parents. I'm saying that to prove a point. People have got to chill. You've got to chill. All right, so let me get us over here. Which one do I want to go to? I guess I'm going to go here. Let me just go here for a second. Now, I'm going back here because in the Griot interview, oh shoot, did I close it? I did. I closed the wrong dang on window. Dang it. Okay, hold on. I'll pull it back up. In the Griot interview, right? The person who has pushed the narrative about Tristan, or not even pushed the narrative, insinuated that Tristan wasn't Nolan's friend, was Ben Crump. That's who insinuated this. Let's watch.
And this girl, Katie, who has been cited. Oh, yes, Mr. Crump, go ahead.
Let me say this to the young man. You know, not only does his parents, but some of his friends, they reject this notion about he said, oh, he would just volunteer to stay. They're saying Nolan would never do that.
Nolan's friends.
So his friends are saying he doesn't really know Nolan if he's saying that Nolan volunteered to stay there. And we've had so many people now calling our call center saying where there was this argument and then 10 minutes later, there was another argument.
He's trying to hold on to that narrative. I don't care what nobody says. He's trying to hold on to the narrative, okay, about the whole boating incident. Now, why would Ben Crump make that insinuation or imply that they're not friends? Because he's saying Nolan's friends, Nolan's family and friends reject the notion that he stayed behind for a girl. And Nolan's friends are saying that if he thinks that, then he doesn't know Nolan. So he's saying that Nolan's friends are saying that. But anybody could call at this point in time and say, I'm Nolan's friend. I could call the office and say, hey, I'm a friend of Nolan's. I've known him since high school. We kind of lost touch, but I was out there on Horn Island and this is what I saw. Because I say I'm a friend and because I say I'm a witness, they're going to go off of what I'm telling them. See how that goes? But why would Ben Crump go after Tristan? Because he hasn't said nothing about Javon. Now, Javon hasn't said that Nolan stayed behind for a girl, but Javon did say that he was talking to a girl. Javon also said that Nolan was in the water. The same thing that Tristan said. Javon said he left Nolan to go over there with Tristan because he was involved in an altercation. And when he came back about 20 minutes later, the boat that Nolan was on was gone and Nolan was gone too. He also, his phone, allegedly, according to Miss Hands, Doris Hands, who's like a grandmother, Jalen's phone and Nolan's phone was on the same boat. The boat that their phones were on was the boat that Nolan rode in on. Are y'all following me? And that Javon got his phone later. And Nolan's phone was later recovered after being tracked down. He has not spoken to that since the Sun Herald interview. But there's a reason why Trump is going after Tristan. And this is the reason right here. Okay, wait. Is that it? I don't think this is it. I think this is a different. Yeah, that's a different article. Hold on. Yep, that's a different article. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull it up. I got it. Hold on. Unless that's one of the windows that I accidentally closed out. Ah, here it is. All right. So we're going to get into this interview that was done July 13th, or this write-up that was done on July 13th. All right. Nobody would ever hurt Nolan. Friend of late Mississippi teen Nolan Wells says of boat trip. Okay. A viral video depicting a 4th of July party at a barrier island off the coast of Mississippi does not depict an argument involving Nolan Wells, a childhood friend of the late teen said to ABC News Sunday in a broadcast exclusive. So Tristan's interview came out on Sunday, and this write-up was done on Monday. And no, he has not shown his face, and he does say why he didn't want to show his face. And I feel like ABC is fucked up for showing his face. Anyway, Wells, an 18-year-old Mississippi football player, we already know the backstory of that. Attorney Ben Crump, who is representing Wells's parents, said Friday that Wells is among a group of people standing on the island and is heard on the video shot from a boat on the water demanding his phone back. However, Trayston Shepard, a longtime friend, a longtime Wells friend, said the voice heard on the video is his own. Wells is not in the video, he said. That's me yelling. There was no talk about a phone in that video, but instead, Shepard said he was yelling. He was telling both friend Javon Williams and a family member who were both restraining him to let him off the boat so he can continue to fight. Nolan wasn't on the island at the time, he claimed. Now, let me tell you something that I don't like about ABC. ABC chopped up the audio of that interview, and they chopped up this as well. Because he said Nolan wasn't on the island in the interview. Nolan was just out of the shot in the water. But they didn't write that, but it's in the interview in the audio. Shepard said the altercation was between him and another man, a stranger who allegedly started a fight with him. He said that he and his group of friends, which included Wells, had been drinking alcohol since the late morning after multiple boats, all containing friends, arrived on the island for an outing that had been planned to be one last hurrah before returning to either work or school after the holiday break. About 300 people, many of them former high school classmates, were concentrated on their on their portion of the island. So you have 300 former classmates all together on the island. So there's a lot of people out there that we could assume, we're assuming, knew Nolan. Later in the day, after being told the boat needed to return to shore due to an electrical issue, Wells said he wanted to stay behind because he met a girl and would return on another friend's boat, Shepard said. Who's the other friend? Who's the other friend's boat that he was going to return on? We want to know. Wells' body was recovered on Monday in water off the island shore. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter told ABC News he suspected Wells drowned, but is still investigating. An autopsy is being conducted by the state medical examiner. The results are pending, said Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lind Jr. Bruce Lind Jr. is who is doing Nolan's autopsy, not Stacey Turner. So let's clear that up too. It's not Stacey Turner who is doing Nolan's autopsy. All right. It's Bruce Lind Jr. Or at least that's what this write-up is saying, because we're going to see if we get to see the medical examiner's report. You know, they got to sign it. So if we see Stacey Turner on there, I'm on her ass. Okay. Just so y'all know, if her name is up on that ME report, I'm on her ass. We already got the information ready to go. Okay. All right. So Shepard said he and Wells were among a tight circle of friends who had known each other since their freshman year at Ocean Springs High School. They've known each other since the freshman year of high school. Shepard, 20, says Wells was just somebody that you automatically just felt so comfortable to talk to, and they bonded through athletics. Their friend group was very diverse in race and ethnicity, and he says they all had one thing in common: admiration for Wells. So when the mother says that they met probably in high school, they did. They met in high school. Again, this came out the morning before the Griot interview aired. Okay. Nobody would ever hurt Nolan in our friend group. We would die for him. We would do anything in our power for that guy. If he needed anything, we would do it, he said. Nolan brought us together. Okay. Shepard declined to be interviewed on camera out of fear for his safety. Now, this is where I have a problem with ABC, okay? Because if these kids are saying that they're receiving death threats, if they're telling you that I don't want to come on camera because I fear for my safety, why would you then put his photograph out there? Now, I don't like that, and I don't care how nobody feels about what I'm saying right now, because it's a fact. If this was a white boy, one of the white kids, excuse me, no offense to anybody, that was sitting out here and they were doing an interview and they said they did not want to be seen on camera because they feared for their safety, would you have still put their photograph out there? If they're telling you that they are receiving death threats and they feared for their safety, would you have exposed them? Because they put it right here in black and white as to why he didn't come on camera. He said he and other friends have been besieged by death threats since Wells's body was found last Monday. And you still put his picture out there. Not that the internet would not have found him, because the internet would definitely find you. Okay. They would have found out who you were. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's just like, dang, the internet is undefeated for real. They will find you. But still, ABC, you had an obligation to protect this boy's identity and you didn't. And you know, it is what it is. The FBI talked with Nolan's parents. They held a press conference earlier today. It was not the FBI. We already covered that. It was the Jackson, Mississippi, the Jackson DA's office. They talked to the district attorney. They were talking to the district attorney because they are going to grand jury investigate. They are gathering a grand jury to investigate. All right. He said he wanted to speak publicly because he wanted to set the record straight due to what he said was misinformation and speculation swirling online. Crump told Good Morning America Thursday that a key piece of evidence was Wells's phone, which he said was retrieved from his friends. Something he said was suspicious. Okay. Shepard said it was very common for everyone to leave their phones on in the boat. He said few videos or photos exist from that day because everybody was in the water and not on their phones. All our friends are out there. Who are we communicating with? And we're in salt water. We're not in fresh water, he said. I mean, Wells, he said, my thing is, emergency. I mean, they have radios on the boat and stuff like that, but Wells, he said, placed his phone in the boat of one of their friends. When Nolan got in the water, he put his phone on the boat dash, also with probably 15 other phones. So it wasn't just Nolan's phone that was on the boat. There were other phones on the boat as well, which we know there was at least one other phone on the boat because Javon told us he left his. It was said that Javon, Doris Hands, told us he left his phone on the same boat that Nolan was on. So we know that there were other phones on the boat. Shepard's uncle, who asked not to be named, was piloting one of the boats that day. He said it's normal for people in the boating community to ignore their phones while on the water. That's not uncommon. I've even gotten home and had phones on my deck. I didn't know whose they were. They come and get their phones later. Out there, they can give a care less about their phone. They get up in the boat, take a picture, set it down, get back in the water, he said. Ledbetter told ABC that Crump has not yet turned over Wells's phone to his investigators. Crump said Friday that the family planned to turn over the phone after they conducted their own independent investigation. Shepard also said that a photo that Crump shared on his Instagram, which supposedly shows Wells at a pool party, was not from July 5th, as the caption claims. He said the party took place July 27th in nearby Pass Christian, Mississippi. Investigators from Jackson County Sheriff's Department talked to Shepard and his friend group and his group of friends on Monday, and on Friday he gave an official statement. So Shepard and his friends, his group of friends, on Monday the 6th, when the incident happened, and on Friday they gave a statement. They talked to the sheriff already. Okay. He said he is upset by the suggestion that from Crump that race may have played a role in Wells' death. As a result, he said he and his friends have become targets. They are trying to spin a narrative that's not there, he said. He's wrong. This is why Crump came for Tristan. This part, I'm going to read it again, and then I'm going to read all the way through it. He said he's upset by the suggestion from Crump that race may have played a role in Wells's death. As a result, he said he and his friends have become targets. They are trying to spin a narrative that's not there, he said. He's wrong. I understand Wells's parents are grieving, and I really think he's taken a little bit of advantage of that. And I don't like that. I really don't, because they're vulnerable, he said. Vulnerable. This is Tristan coming for Ben Crump. So to me, reading this after watching the Griot, I said, well, that would make sense as to why Crump is making the implications that Tristan is not a friend. He called Crump out. King CJ said, that makes sense to me. Probably thinking more about having fun than if an emergency would happen. True. And these are young kids. These are teenagers we're talking about. So they don't ever think anything will happen to them. They don't think about emergency. When they're out with their friends having fun, they don't think about emergencies and all of that. We think about that now that we're older. When we were teenagers, did we really think that anything could happen? I mean, my grandma gave me like this little change purse. And this is when we had payphones. And I don't give a damn. I'm 47 years old and I'm proud to be 47. But this is when we had payphones and stuff like that. In case I had a beeper. So I had to keep me some quarters on me and stuff. But I've always had change in case I needed to use the phone. I've always had change in case of an emergency. It was instilled in me when I was younger. I was a latchkey child. Shout out to all my latchkey kids. If there was an emergency, like a fire or something, I had to run out the house. I needed to know where the nearest payphone was. I had to get to the payphone. I had to know my mama's job number, my grandma's number. Okay. I had to know important numbers. We don't teach our kids to think about emergencies. We don't. Brother Atkins, I'm with you. He called Crump out, so Crump came for that boy's credibility. And after Crump said what he said, everybody began spinning these narratives saying that the family is saying that Tristan is not a friend of Javon's and that Tristan is lying. And Tristan spoke to the press before speaking to investigators. And Tristan did this and Tristan did that. All because Crump made that implication that, the friends are saying that they denounced that notion that Nolan would stay behind. And the friends are saying that if he believes that he's not a real friend of Nolan's. So this came out that Monday and the Griot came out that night. Let's continue. Shepard said he wants everybody to just relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan. And let us remember him as the sweet guy he was and not something we're scared of because of the trauma we've had, he said. If Ben Crump is doing his own investigation, let him do it. And then let the sheriff's office conclude their investigation and figure out what the facts are on their end. Let us all just know the truth instead of jumping to two conclusions about things. We all cared and loved Nolan. Nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted his life taken so short, he said. He had everything going for him. Now, when they put this interview out Sunday night, they cut off that part of the audio where he says he had everything going for him. And everybody is ripping this boy apart because he said, no, nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted his life taken so short. Hypothetical possibility again. Wasn't Nolan's life taken? Whether he was murdered or he did drown, wasn't his life taken? And wasn't it taken so short? That last part kind of changes that statement for me, doesn't it? Change it just a bit. It might not change it for y'all, but it changed it for me because he said he had everything going for him. And he did. And he did. So that is what he said to ABC that got Ben Crump on his heels. But as we heard in that press conference, he addressed it. Ben Crump said that witnesses told him that that's what was being said, that Nolan said, what the freak are you doing? Give me my freaking phone. But he still has never addressed the pool party allegations that he posted on his page. Which the pool party, what I'm noticing is a lot of the content creators that hung their hat on that pool party situation, they're the ones going the hardest at Tristan. Why? Is it because Tristan debunked what you said? Is that why? Because I don't get the selectiveness of everything. It's like some people don't want to say something. No, I'm going to say the inside things outside. I'm going to say them outside. I'm going to say the outside thing inside. Because here's the other part. According to Rolling Stones, another friend of Wells and Shepard told TMZ over the weekend that it wasn't Wells heard on the video. Javon Williams said the video was too far away from him to make out whether or not it was Wells in the group standing on the shore. So Javon is telling you that he can't make out whether or not that's Nolan standing on the shore. Nolan's mother tells you that she can't tell if that's him standing on the shore. And Tristan is telling you that he's not on the shore, that he's in the water. Let's continue. The video was too far away from him to make out whether or not it was Wells in the group standing on the shore. But he thought the audio sounded too clear for it to have come from the land. That altercation, it sounds just like my other friend who got into an altercation on the boat. Javon told TMZ about the video. As he was in that altercation, I was trying to calm him down. They were trying to get him out off the island, trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it. The parents on the boat were trying to get him out. Okay. Shepard confirms to Rolling Stones that he was the friend Williams was referring to in the TMZ interview. Those were not Nolan's words. They were mine. Crump did not immediately respond to the request for comment. This was written, I believe it was written on Monday as well. Yeah, no, this was written July 12th. That was written July 12th, which was that Sunday. Now, Ben Crump said that this came, what he said came from witnesses calling in. Hey, Mel. And he somewhat addressed it today. He didn't fully address it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. He somewhat addressed it, but he didn't fully address it because he's saying, I already showed it on his Instagram. His Instagram does not say if you have any information about this photograph right here, contact our law offices. He pushes it as a Nolan Wells investigation update, which kind of stamps some validity to it. And that's a little careless, in my opinion, because then it gives people the ammunition to run rampant and say, well, see, Ben Crump said, and Ben Crump said, but the boat incident, he's blaming that on people calling into the office and, well, this is what someone told me was said. But you hung your hat on it. What I will say that I do applaud and I respect and I look forward to seeing going forward is that he said Moving forward, they will be careful to say, according to witnesses. I wouldn't even say according to witnesses, because like I said, I could call that hotline and say that I'm one of Nolan Wells's friends and that I was on Horn Island and this is what I saw. And then all of a sudden it becomes a witness said. Say phone calls coming in have said, because I'm quite sure there's content creators that are calling that hotline as well to push their narratives too. I'm quite sure. Just like I'm quite sure there are people that are calling him to give him information as well. I'm quite sure. And again, this is nothing against him personally. This is just saying, watching how social media grabs a small microbyte of something and blows it up and makes it something bigger. Got to be careful with what you're saying, because he is a point of people going to him and looking at him as a point of confirmation, validity. If he said it, it's solid. If he's backing it, it's solid. It's something that I can get behind. So yeah, you got to be careful. But the reason he came after that boy Trayston is because Trayston came for him in that ABC interview. That's my humble opinion. I could be wrong. Absolutely. Absolutely, Mel. I agree with you. He tried to distance himself from the pool photo after, talking about it. All right. So now Trayston has said that, they're saying in Rolling Stones that basically that was Trayston that was there. So Trayston confirmed to Rolling Stones that he was the friend that Williams was trying to restrain in the team, that was talking about restraining in the TMZ interview, right? And Crump did not respond to them asking him about this information, but he did address it today. Okay, that's a few days later, but he addressed it today. And that's a good thing, because I had a whole video lined up, okay? Because I was about to go in. Do you hear me? Shepard remembers Wells as a gentle, respectful person and says he deeply misses his close friend. He made sure everybody was included in everything. And if you were somewhere, he made you feel welcome there, Shepard says. He didn't see any flaws you had. He only saw the positive you brought into his life, into the world. Whatever you did, if Nolan was friends with you, he was your biggest supporter. All right. So that's what he had to say when it came down to Nolan. Now I'm going to bring you guys the CNN interview that was done with Javon and his mom. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm going to leave the Rolling Stone one open, because we might have to spin the block on something that was said. I don't think we're going to need YouTube anymore. We never really went over the Griot interview, and I'll see how this video is flowing to see if that's something that I do want to do afterwards. But right now, we're going to get into this.
Tonight, we're also learning more about a video that seemed to go viral, purporting to show an altercation on the island involving Wells. We know police had been investigating an alleged altercation, but that same friend told ABC it was not Nolan in that video. His family demanding transparency in the investigation. And tonight, the sheriff in Jackson County, Mississippi says Nolan Wells' family deserves a thorough and factual investigation.
If you guys are enjoying the content, please be sure that you are leaning on that like button. I know the numbers are going up and down. Just please make sure that you guys are leaning on the like. The tip jar is always open, you guys. And that's actually optional. But be sure that you lean on a like. Likes are free, and YouTube gives you one free like for every video you watch.
That's exactly what they're going to get. Joining me now is the attorney representing the family of Nolan Wells, Benjamin Crump. I'm also joined by Nolan's mother, Christine Wansley, her friend, Tashima Hands, along with Tashima's son, and Nolan's friend, Javon Williams.
Okay, so Tashima Hands. So that means Doris Hands is her mother. So that was Javon's grandmother, Doris Hands. So now we can put some validity behind who said that Javon's phone was on the same boat as Nolan's. His grandmother, Javon's grandmother, says Javon's phone was on the same boat that Nolan rode in on. Him and their phones were on the same boat. So she was like a grandmother to Nolan, but she was a grandmother to Javon. All right.
Thank you all so much for being here. This has just hung so heavy on all of our hearts. Miss Christine, how are you and your family holding up?
A lot of praying, a lot of just leaning on each other in this moment and just taking it day by day. That's really all we can do right now. Um, it's been hard. You know, every day is different. And really, every second is different, which is something people need to understand. Grief is not one emotion.
And you know what? I'm glad that she's addressing this grief thing, because even people have been coming for the mom. I've seen people coming for the mom. I've seen people coming for the dad. I've seen people talking about them grieving and calling her tears crocodile tears. Like, how dare you? This is a mother who lost her son. The disrespect, there's been a lot of disrespect that has gone on with this as well.
Right. It's multiple emotions and they're all happening at the same time. And so it's just like 1 minute I can be I can be okay like this and I can talk about it. And then the next minute I'm breaking down in tears because it's a constant reminder. Because if I'm being honest, we really just have not had time to fully grieve with everything that's going on.
This is your baby. And
They haven't had time to grieve with everything that has been going on. And I'm also going to say it again. I'm going to say the inside things outside. They haven't had a moment to grieve. And I hope Ben Crump hears what she said. She looks tired to me. Christine looks tired. You know what else she has? For those who want to say that her tears are fake. Isn't this the same face that we see every time something happens to a young Black man? Isn't this the same look that every mother has? Doesn't she look just like Emmett Till's mother? No offense to Emmett Till's family if they take offense. But it's a look that these mothers get. Do y'all see it, or am I the only one seeing it? You don't play with a mother's grief. Let me just say that to all parties, everybody.
everyone must understand that. And just day by day, have you been hearing anything from investigators?
No, the last time I spoke with an investigator, it was Major Smith, and I had reached out to him via text message. That was last Tuesday. Other than that, I have not spoken with anyone,
That is
and no one
agonizing.
has reached out.
That is shocking, first of all, but also agonizing to think that has been that much time having passed. I mean, Javon, I want to come to you.
Before we get to Javon, this is why I said what I said when we were watching the press conference. This is why I said I would not have left that office without getting everything that was due to me. If you say you dropped the ball and you were supposed to have had this information in my hands, and it was supposed to be in my hands 72 hours after the discovery of my son's body, and we are now 11 days past that time, you should have had that paperwork together and ready for her and her family to grab a hold to. You should have had that information ready to pass over to her attorney, Ben Crump. You should have had your ducks in a row. I don't like the way that they are mishandling this case. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I wish I could go to Mississippi for the funeral to cover it and just to give my condolences to her. Because I cannot imagine losing one of my children, having the nation's eyes on it, then being ridiculed, pulled apart, examined under a microscope, having to do all of these press conferences and press runs. And all I want to do is grieve my son. I know all she wants to do is curl up in that bed and cry and sob and wail. I know she does. As a mother, my heart goes out to her. Nolan went from being her baby to a whole community's baby. And it's shameful that people are trying to demonize her.
Because, I mean, you're his friend. You were on the island on the 4th. You were on a different boat. Do you recall seeing him at all that day?
Yes, ma'am. I did see him when I was out there on the island.
Can you tell me what you saw? Does anything seem strange to you about the difference that people are saying of how he was separated from the group?
No, ma'am. I don't think that Nolan would say, "Hey, bro, I'm staying with this girl on the island. Y'all go ahead and go back," without even bringing it, like not even asking to get his phone back. You know what I mean? I don't think that any of that.
What makes you so
But-
sure about that? Because I mean, obviously you've been with him, you've spent a lot of time with him. Did you know him to be someone to leave his phone or even say, "You guys go without me"?
Here's the thing. If we look at it from an on land type of thing, no. But Javon is not mentioning, and this is the problem I have right now. This is a problem that I have. Javon said in that Sun Herald interview, let me pull that back up for y'all, because I did close it out. Not even Javon. Javon's grandmother said, Javon and Nolan's phones were on the same boat. Right here. This is the problem that I have. Again, I am not coming for anyone in specific. I'm in the pursuit of truth and understanding what happened that day. First of all, Javon acknowledged that Nolan visited with a girl, but that he also chatted with other friends in the crowd. You're mentioning the phone. Your grandmother told the Sun Herald that you and Nolan left your phones on the same boat and that your phone was retrieved later. When did you get your phone back? Okay. Trayston, what friend did he say he was getting on the boat with? I'm just asking questions. But that point right there that the grandmother said is not being addressed.
Never. I've never known Nolan to stay back while his friends leave. He's always been a guy where if he rode with you, he's going to come back with you. That's always how he's been every single time.
You know, this friend of his, Tracy.
I really hate to point this out, and we're going to see what the toxicology report brings back if there was alcohol in his system. But a lot of people were coming for Trayston because he said that Nolan was drinking. There is Nolan. There is a can in his hand. Do we know what that is in his hand? No, we cannot see the label. Is it beer? We don't know. Is it a wine cooler? We don't know. We have to wait for toxicology to come back before we start ripping people apart to shreds. This is why I'm not popular like that, because people don't like me when I start digging.
And also told ABC that that video people have been talking about that was said to show some sort of altercation, it did not involve Nolan. He says it was actually him yelling in the video and that you and a family member were holding him back because he'd been in a fight. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am. We were calming Trayston down. In that video where he said, "Give me my effing phone back," it sounds like him. So I'm pretty sure that he was right on that. But
Did you hear that? Javon finally named who it was in the video. Now, why didn't he name them in the TMZ interview? Because he was speaking out in the TMZ interview. And he wasn't about to out somebody else. Excuse me. Trayston outed himself. So now that Trayston has spoken, he can speak. Yeah, that's Trayston in the video.
I'm so sorry to think about what you must be going through and thinking about what's happened to Nolan. I mean, you mentioned the phone. Tashima, a huge question so many people have is why he would have left his cell phone behind. And you say you were the person who actually went and retrieved that phone for the family. How'd you get your hands on the phone? Where was it?
I want to know, was Javon told not to speak on that portion? Because here's the thing. When you go to speak to the press, right, you're going to get prepped ahead of time of what you can and can't say. How do I know this? Because I had a situation where I was suing the police department, my local police department, for wrongfully raiding my home. They were looking for the tenants who lived there before me, and they came and they raided my home, whole, knocked the door down thing, assault rifles out, pistols drawn, whole 9 yards, okay? 5 o'clock in the morning, all right? And I sued. Now, my lawyer, when I got ready to talk to the local news station, my lawyer informed me of what I could and could not say because we had pending litigations going on. There was an investigation, the case was going, and it was still doing investigations, depositions, and all types of shit. So you get told what you can and cannot say. So I'm wondering, was he prepped? Has he been prepped to not say certain things? Is that why he's not bringing up? Well, my lawyer ended up settling the lawsuit because it ended up getting dangerous. If you want to know, Desire, it ended up getting dangerous. I was getting followed. My kids were getting followed. My lawyer was being harassed by the police department, the whole 9 yards. I didn't want to settle, but my lawyer was pressing to settle. And me being young in my 20s, not really knowing, how to hold out and fight the good fight and all of that, I just followed the advice of my counsel. And we settled. And I wished we didn't, because not too long after that, the FBI was investigating my local police departments. So I should have stayed active on the case, and the FBI would have got involved, because there was a lot of wrongdoing in my case. But he got scared. My kids were getting scared. My daughter was going bald. She was losing her hair. She wasn't sleeping. My son wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. So it was really, it was bad. And I just wanted it over with and to put it behind me. And I should have listened to my mom and my dad. They were telling me to keep pressing. Don't settle. And I was just like, no, like it was a lot. I mean, my daughter's hair was literally, I would brush her hair every morning and her hair was just coming out from stress. Like literally. But I'm wondering if he's prepped as to what he can and can't say. Because why are we not talking about that part?
That is correct. Christine called me and told me, hey, where are the boys? Nolan hasn't been heard from since such and such time. Where are your boys? I said, well, Javon is with his girlfriend, and I just spoke with Jalen, and they are headed to downtown, which I was literally getting ready to get in the shower to go downtown as well. She said, well, Nolan hasn't been. So I instantly called with Christine on the phone, Javon. Javon said, no, he hadn't seen Nolan since early on the island. And he was like, what? Are y'all serious? We was like, yes. And so Christine intervened in the conversation and said, Nolan has not been heard from since he left the island. So Javon was like, well, that's when I seen him. I haven't seen him since then. Again, everybody goes their separate ways. So I then hang up from Javon because obviously there's nothing he can say to tell me anything. So then Jalen, I call him. Jalen did not answer the phone. Christine again is on the phone. Jalen did not answer the phone. LeBaron, he didn't answer the phone. I called LeBaron, which is their other friend, LeBaron Broomfield. He answered. He said, Jalen is in the gas station. Hold on. So he said, hey, Jalen.
She gave us a whole story instead of getting to the point. Let me give you the summary, okay? Christine called her. She called Javon on three-way. Javon asked him if he's seen Nolan. He said no. I called my other son, Jalen. He didn't answer. So his friend, I called his friend's phone. He put Jalen on the phone. Jalen didn't answer. Christine, they tracked him down. A Snapchat was showing the phone was in one location and the Life 360 was showing another location. So I went there. When I went there, it took 15 minutes for them to give me the phone. Wyatt went out to his truck, said he had to go get his phone from out there, and it was just taking too long for me. But when I had arrived to the house was, everybody was in there. They were sitting in the dark watching TV. You see how quick that was? Yeah, she telling us the whole story.
Mom on the phone. So he's like, Jalen, like, what's up, Mom? What's going on? I was like, hey, have y'all heard from Nolan? They said no. We have not heard from Nolan.
But where was the phone?
So I was like, well,
Uniquely, I don't know what she did that got on your nerves during this interview, but I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I know. Here we go. Bye to those who have left. Bye. I'm laughing because look at her face. She's like, well, where's the phone? Like, you telling us all of this. Where's the phone? And I know we all thinking it like, girl, where's the phone at? Tell us about when you got to the phone. Because she's too long-winded. Girl, get to the point.
Okay, so that's when we started tracking the phone. Well, for Christine, it said one place, but for them on Snapchat, it showed another place. So that's the place we went to. And it showed that everybody that was in the house, it was like a lot of people there. Like it was, I'm not familiar with all the kids. I only know like one or two there, but it showed that the phone was at what a lot of people were at. So that's how we knew where to go to. We went there. They were all there. They were sitting there, lights off, watching TV.
Did they immediately give you the phone? Because knowing that phone was there.
It took about 15. They did. They gave me the phone, but it took about 15 minutes to get the phone. Because I even asked, I'm like, did y'all have to walk back to Horn Island to get the phone? Or like, where's the phone? Because it took so long when they said it was in, when Wyatt told me it was in his truck.
Wyatt had the phone. Jax had the car keys because that's the house that Nolan was at. And Wyatt had the phone.
It took him so long to get the phone back to me.
Christine,
So when they brought the phone back.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tashima. I want to hear that.
When they brought the phone, after I said something about it, he was like, well, she's going to get it. I was like, who's going to get it? He's like, the girl's going to get the phone. So I'm assuming, I don't want to say the wrong name because I don't know these kids' names.
Sure.
And I know how I feel about my child, Ash. But one of the girls at the house, I'm pretty sure it was Katie. Her name was Katie Diaz or something like that. She brought me the phone.
Christine,
So
when you're
that's how we
hearing this,
retrieved
I mean, in the phone in the 15-minute window, and again, I know you just said, Tashima.
Now, here's another Katie. Do they have the Katies wrong? I don't know, but it's another Katie.
You're not sure of all the names that are involved here, but just hearing about looking for this phone, did you have concerns about the phone when you got it back?
Absolutely.
What were those concerns?
Just because when my sister and I went through the phone, it was just too clean. And I'm sure Javon can attest to this. Nolan was always taking pictures, always making videos. So I would expect something in the Snapchat, right? Both accounts were empty. There was no saved videos. Like it was nothing there.
From the whole
and
day?
I just find that very hard to believe from the whole day. And so that's why I was kind of like, wait, like.
Well, here's the thing. If they weren't taking pictures, hear me out. If the phone was on the boat and the internet service is either non-existent or shoddy, how would there be anything in there in the phone? I mean, in the Snapchat. If you don't really have service out there, it's not gonna But I want to know, well, she said there was nothing. So I guess there was no photos, no videos in the gallery. But what if he really didn't have his phone because his phone was on the boat? Again, I'm just asking questions. People get offended. They don't like what I got to say. They leave and all of that. It's fine. I'm for people who think anyway. But what if? What if he really didn't? And I guess we'll find that out after they do the forensics on the phone. That's when we'll find out if anything was in fact deleted from the phone, because they'll be able to use the Cellbrite and extract everything from those phones and go through it. And they'll see if text messages were deleted, if phone calls were deleted. I don't know. I think they'll be able to see social media stuff that may have been deleted out of the phone as well. So we'll find out as this investigation goes on. But like I keep telling everybody, we really have to stop and think. This is a puzzle. It's not a marathon race. This is a puzzle that you're putting together. But I'm also going to say this. Never forget that we're talking about Mississippi either. Okay? I just want to say that. Yes, exactly, Bianca. A digital forensics expert will find out.
Like, this doesn't feel like, this is really starting not to feel right. Especially once we got that phone and kind of started going through it. And like I said, you know, I just don't see that. Like, I know my child, right? You know, no parent is perfect. We don't know everything 100% about our kids.
And I respect that she said that, because it's a fact. We don't know everything about our children. And I have to say that I respect her, the way that she's coming at this, because at the end of the day, she hasn't ridiculed anyone. She really just wants the truth. And to go back to what you had said, the Reset Queen, yes, I don't want to play that person on my channel. I don't want to play those people that are saying that the mother's tears are crocodile tears and she's performative and she's a narcissistic mom who's in it for the money. It's a money grab for her. Well, they live in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and they don't look like they're struggling to me. But people made a lot of assumptions about Carmelo Anthony's parents, didn't they? And that turned out to not be true. I just wonder, when are people going to get tired of jumping to conclusions? Like, aren't your legs tired? Like, what's so hard about sitting and critically thinking about a case before you start making assumptions and pumping narratives out there? Just saying.
But I know my child well, especially with the way he moves, the things he does. And if he has a phone out all the time at home, he's definitely going to have a phone out whenever he's out and he's, you know, doing things with his friends. So that was just really hard to believe that there was nothing there.
I don't understand why Javon is not explaining to her. Well, Christine, Nolan's phone was on the boat and we were in the water and on the island, so we didn't have our phones. I mean, yeah, Nolan always has his phone out, but that day, none of us had our phones. What is so hard to say? Why can't you say that to her? Why can't you tell her that part? Because that will at least put her mind at ease. He's not saying anything. Am I the only one that's seeing this? If your grandmother is saying that your phone was on the same boat as Nolan's, do you have Snapchats in your phone? Do you have photographs and videos in your phone from that day? At any point in time, did you see Nolan with his phone in his hand? Did any of the kids have their phones in their hands? Because guess what? The photographs of Nolan, the last photographs of him on the boat, are on the boat. No one has come forward with photographs from that day that we see on social media. Javon said that they left early. Yes, they did. But Javon's phone was on the same boat as Nolan's, according to his grandmother. Doris Hands is Javon's grandmother. Right there. Both young men left their phones on the boat that Wells rode out on. Williams later retrieved his phone. From where? From whom? When did you retrieve the phone? Because if that boat left early, that means your phone left as well. Or did you go to that boat and get your phone? Because if not, then your phone left on that boat as well. This is why I'm asking. Did Nolan get swept up in a goddamn riptide, an undertow, a drop off, and the kids are scared to say something? That's just as bad. That's just as bad. Understand that is just as bad if they know he got swept away in the ocean and they're not saying nothing. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I am just saying. This is a detail that nobody is bringing out. This is an important piece of information that needs to be explained. When did you get your phone? Who did you get your phone from? Did you get your phone while you were on the island, or did you get your phone once you got back to the mainland? The phone got back to Wyatt's house because he probably took it off the boat back there with him. What I want to know is what happened to that boat? Did that boat really have electrical problems and have to go in early? That's one. That's what I want to know. Two, if Nolan did stay behind and say that he was going to catch a ride with his other friends, as Trayston has said, that's what he said, he was going to ride with his other friends back. Who are the other friends that he rode back? Three, who is Katie McCormick and why has she not spoken? Four, was Javon's phone on the boat with Nolan's phone or not? When did he get his phone back? From whom did he get his phone back? That's 6. 7, how did Wyatt end up with Nolan's phone? 8, where was everybody once they came back from Horn Island? 9, at what point did they realize that Nolan had not returned to the mainland? 10, why did it take Warren till 11:07 to contact Nolan's mother to tell her that they did not know where he was? Did anybody try contacting Katie? The father says he doesn't know anybody that had a boat. Well, according to Ashley Cole, the judge, Warren and them have a boat. Why didn't y'all offer y'all boat to take him back out there to go look for his son? Why did he have to wait till 5 a.m. when Nolan's coach called to go out there and look for Nolan? Why didn't y'all volunteer y'all boat? It was y'all boat that took him out there. It was y'all boat that took him out there. So y'all couldn't use y'all boat to go look for him? See, I got questions. I should change my damn channel name to I Got Questions. Because when we get to investigating these stories and these cases, I have questions. Let's finish up. It's only like a minute left. Did you see? Hold on. I want y'all to look at something. This just caught my eye. I want y'all to see something. Okay.
I know we're trying gators.
Happened to Nolan is
hard to believe that there was nothing there.
Ben Crump. I mean, listening to this, where is does the investigation stand? The question, what happened to Nolan, is still there.
Yeah, it is, Laura Coates, and me and my legal team and our team of investigators, we're feeling so many phone calls, and we're thankful because people are calling our call center and talking to our investigators. I know we're trying to dot every I and cross every T, and there's so much coming out. I mean, things that happened the night before, the things that happened that day, we're finding out, and it's and cross so many.
There.
Yeah, it is, Laura Coates, and me and my legal team and our team of investigators, we're feeling so many phone calls, and we're thankful because people are calling our call center and talking to our investigators. I know we're trying to dot every I and cross every T, and there's so much coming out. I mean, things that happened the night before, the things that happened that day, we're finding out, and it's really concerning, some of the things that they're telling us. And we understand there were multiple videos of altercations that they're telling us about, Laura. So it's going to come out one way or the other. We will get the truth.
Miss Christine, I want nothing more than the truth for you. And I'm just so sorry for the loss.
Now, I'm going to tell you why I zoomed in on Javon. And I'm going to take it back a little bit because people are peopling. Now, they're saying, watch his body language when Ben Crump is talking. Look at him while he's on camera, period. This is before Ben Crump starts talking. He's fidgety and he's scared. It ain't just a matter of, oh, look at how he's swallowing hard and rubbing his lips together, and look at how he's looking while Ben Crump is talking. The mother is talking right now.
I can be okay like this and I can talk about it. And then the next minute I'm breaking down in tears because it's a constant reminder. Because if I'm being honest, we really just have not had time to fully grieve with everything that's going on.
This is your baby, and everyone must understand that. And just day by day, have you
him via text message?
First, you were on the island on the 4th. You were on a different boat. Do you
Hold on.
recall seeing him at all that day?
Yes, ma'am. I did see.
Hold on, y'all.
Joining me now is the attorney representing the family of Nolan Wells, Benjamin Crump. I'm also joined by Nolan's mother, Christine Wansley, her friend, Tashima Hands, along with Tashima's son, and Nolan's friend, Javon Williams. Thank you all so much for being here. This has just hung so heavy on all of our hearts. Miss Christine, how are you and your family holding up?
A lot of praying, a lot of just leaning on each other. in this moment and just taking it down.
Am I missing something here? Am I missing something here? Because he's doing the same thing while the mother is talking. This is why I said, listen, I'm not picking apart anybody and I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not joining that. So if that's what you came here for, or if that's what you're looking for, this is not the channel for you, because I'm not going to attack anyone. Even with what I said about Ben Crump, I'm asking questions. I'm pointing out things because I'm going to stand for something, because I don't fall for everything. Okay. Let me tell you something. One of the first lessons that my daddy taught me in this world was that you don't take everybody at face value. I'm also one of those females that my daddy told me I was beautiful and that he loved me every day. So telling me that you beautiful, that I'm beautiful, and telling me you love me don't get you very far with me. You ain't going to dress up a hog and put lipstick and a dress on it and tell me that it's not a hog when it's a hog. Okay? I'm going to speak the truth. And I don't care who gets offended by some of the stuff that I ask. I don't care who gets offended that I don't agree with their ideologies. I don't care who gets offended that I don't allow people to push narratives in my chat. I don't care who wants to combat with me. I don't care who wants to go back and forth or debate. We could debate all day. That boy is scared. And what people have to understand is there is a combination of emotions that are going on here. Okay. They're on national television. These people ain't used to having cameras and spotlights on them. They probably got news people following them and taking pictures and all types of shit. You don't know what they got going on now. He's speaking about an incident that happened in his community. Ben Crump, is speaking and putting a spotlight on the fact that this is Mississippi. And race does play a factor in all of this. Now, these young children, people are getting mad at the young children who are saying that race didn't play a factor in it. They don't understand how race is playing a factor in it. Because whether it is racism that drove what happened to Nolan to happen, be it some rando person who did something to him, whether it be the boys on the boat did something to him, whether it be the way that this case is being handled by the Jackson, Mississippi Sheriff's Office, race is a fact. The way this case will be handled in court, race is a fact. We already see how racism is a factor in this case, because at the end of the day, them boys, they weren't arrested. They weren't taken in for questioning. They went home. They lawyered up. They went down there and they got questioned by the Jackson, Mississippi Police Department or Sheriff's Department with their lawyers present. If this had been the other way around and it was Tristan, Javon, and Nolan that were on the boat with Wyatt or Warren or Evan or Jax, and Wyatt or Warren or Evan or Jax went missing, and the last people that they were seen with was Javon, Tristan, and Nolan, Javon, Tristan, and Nolan would be locked up right now. Their families would have to bond them out, or they would be fighting to get out. So we're already seeing how race is playing a factor in this. You cannot get around it. So to say that it doesn't as an adult is ignorance. It does. And this is one of the home mainland states of Jim Crow counties. Of the Jim Crow counties, I meant to say. But these children, they live in a diverse neighborhood. Their friend group is diverse, according to them. They're sheltered somewhat from some of this, from what we see. And what they do experience, they can't speak on. I think people are just looking for an answer, and so they're hanging their hat on anything. But we don't know anything as the public except for what they give us and what we see. We don't know. We're not there. Nobody is there. Nobody is right there with this family every day. Nobody is close to this family reporting on this every day. We all have opinions and assumptions of things. I want to do one last thing before we go, because I may or may not come back later. No, that's not what I wanted. Hmm. Hold on, you guys. Hold on.
In a week since Nolan Wells' body was found on Horn Island. As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today, I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands. Speculation continues as to
Okay, now this was from Monday.
what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
this investigation is active, it's ongoing.
He wasn't able to confirm much. Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses, and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI. The investigation has benefited from information brought by the community.
This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Many are preparing for the return of Wells' autopsy. However, toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety states every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same timeline. While theories circle social media, those who are close to Nolan are still waiting for closure, as one friend spoke in an ABC interview.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the fact shows that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The facts is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I'm just waiting patiently to see.
Did y'all hear what he said? He said, if somebody did something to Nolan, I hope. Oh, no, y'all didn't hear nothing. My bad. My bad. And y'all just been patiently waiting. Thank you. My bad. My bad, damn it. Okay. Let me bring it back. He said, if somebody harmed Nolan, did I still not play it? Did I still not play it? Jesus Christ. Okay, it's on the screen now.
As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today, I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands.
Speculation continues as to what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
This investigation is active. It's ongoing.
he wasn't able to confirm much. Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses, and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI. The investigation has benefited from information brought by the community.
This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Many are preparing for the return of Wells' autopsy. However, toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety states every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same timeline. While theories circle social media, those who are close to Nolan are still waiting for closure, as one friend spoke in an ABC interview.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the fact shows that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The facts is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I'm just waiting patiently to see before I think anything else.
Trayston said that if somebody brought harm on Nolan, he hopes justice is served. And if this was a tragic accident and nobody said anything, he hopes justice is served. Either way, he hopes that justice is served. He wants the facts of the case to come out. You saying you waiting on toxicology is low-key dry victim blaming to me. How is it dry victim blaming? They have to see what was in his system. There's allegations that he was out drinking. There's photographs of him with a can in his hand. They have to see what the toxicology report brings back. Same thing with Ben Crumps. They have to do a toxicology. She still needs to eat. So, I don't know. Was there anything else that I was going to show you guys before I get up off of here? I don't think so. Oh, the coach. People are having a hard time with this interview that TMZ did with Nolan Wells' coach. Now, a lot of people, and let me say this while it loads, a lot of people are having issue with it because they're saying, why are all of these black people coming out and speaking? None of the white people are speaking. His white friends aren't speaking. The white coach ain't speaking. Y'all got the black friends out here talking. Y'all ain't got no white friends out here talking. The fact of the matter is, nobody would be listening to those friends. Nobody's going to believe the friends. Like, I don't know why people are asking for something they don't really want. Y'all want them to talk, but then it's going to be ripped apart just like it's happening with Nolan and Trayston, and they're going to be vilified. So do y'all really want to hear what they have to say? And if you hear a white person on here saying that, oh, race was not a factor, y'all are going to rip that shit to shreds. Like, come on. Y'all don't really want that. Y'all just talking because y'all got lips. That's all. Y'all don't need what the people got to say. I'm being so honest and so for real. Ain't nobody going. Y'all say he ain't had no black friends. The black friends come out and talking, and now you want to hear from the white friends. Man, listen. I know I'm gonna be sitting in here with the hard eyeballs on them, like, y'all see what he said? I don't believe that shit. You know they lying. You know that's how we gonna be sitting back looking. So I don't even know why y'all making a big stink about what the hell is going on. Stop it, America. Stop it, Black America. Stop it. Because I know I'm gonna do it. I know I'm gonna do it. And y'all know y'all gonna do it too. If I get up here and I start playing them, y'all, these comments, y'all gonna be, they lying through their teeth. Their parents told them to say that. Look at that, they covering it up. They can't even get that story straight. Nope, that's not what the mama said. Come on, we know what we gonna do. So let's not act like let's not act like we don't know how it's gonna go down. But now let's take a listen to Tracy. That's his name. Tracy Lampy, I think is his name. I think former coach or coach, head assistant coach for Nolan.
So Tracy, what his parents think happened here? Do they believe this was just an unfortunate accident, tragedy, or that it's something more sinister?
I was in Ocean Springs when it happened, and I was still in disbelief when I got the news that Nolan was missing. So when I got all the details surrounding the case, that they told me he was out at Horn Island, and he came up missing or whatnot. I talked with his dad, and we just had conversation. That was kind of after the fact when they had found his body, because I was just giving the family their respect that they deserve, and when everything first took place. But I was sharing all the details that the family was sharing, just putting the word out there, and just so everybody could be on notice and everybody be paying attention.
When you say you talked to the dad, did he kind of accept this as an accident and a tragedy, or was he more suspicious?
Well, no, he was more so just searching for answers right now, because it had just happened and there was a lot of questions still unanswered.
Usually high school football stars have a pretty close relationship with their coaches. What can you tell us about just Nolan as a human being?
Nolan was a great young man, with a big personality. Everybody gravitated to Nolan because of his smile. He just wanted everybody to be happy, and he was a joy to coach, a joy to be around. To sum Nolan up, long story short, Nolan is a guy that I would let date my daughter.
I mean, there were rumblings that he may have gotten into an argument, that there might have been a confrontation or something like that. I mean, was he a guy who would stand up, where, his hackles would go up, or was he more of a get along type guy?
He's more of a get along type guy. Don't get me wrong. Now, if something happened, he'll defend himself. But I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan.
One of the theories is that that he was.
So now you have the coach that is saying, I knew right then and there that was not Nolan. Nolan was not a fighter. Nolan was a peacemaker. So I don't know. I'm not sure if this is the coach. It may be the coach that gave him the ride, took his boat out. I'm not sure. I hope it is.
Drinking, and that there was a riptide that day, and that maybe he got caught in a bad current out there. Knowing him as an athlete, and we've heard that he did know how to swim, would that surprise you if he ended up in that situation?
I mean, it would surprise me, that happened, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting till the family, give out, details of what they done gathered.
Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school, from.
You ain't going to tell us that there was racial tensions at the school anyway, coach. You still got to work there. Why all these people keep going to TMZ? I don't trust TMZ. Are they being paid? As far as I know, TMZ don't pay for interviews, but I don't know.
My experience, cause you have predominant white school, you have black kids there, and they all played and grew up together and got along. Now some stuff might have happened that I didn't see, so I can't speak wholeheartedly on it. But from what I did see, it was a tight knit community. You know what I mean?
So again, there was no racial tensions in our little neck of the woods. So look, listen, I'm not here to say whether these people lying or not. That's not my job. Okay. I'm not the police. I'm not even a lawyer. I'm just a person. Just a person. But that coach knows whether or not there's been things that have gone on, but he's not going to speak, just like Javon is not going to speak. You're not going to get anybody from this community to come out and say anything. They're not. They're not going to say nothing to it right now, if they do say anything at all. But we do know the history. We are watching. When it comes to this case, I will say that there are more questions that come out by the day. As usual, what happens when you have cases like this? Even when it comes down to that David case, there's a lot of questions that are unanswered, but people have pretty much dug their heels in to that story, and they've come to their own conclusions. So at the end of the day, it's normal to have questions. I'm going to be asking those questions and saying those things out loud that we usually say on the inside. What we are waiting for right now, the FBI is gathering the digital evidence. Okay. The district attorney is assembling a investigative grand jury. So this investigation has gone up to the federal level. That gives a little bit of comfort, because then that means that Mississippi is not handling this by itself. Okay. I believe that's because of all the noise about the racial tensions and all of that the feds have to get involved in this. I think that. I don't know that for certain. I just think that. We are waiting on toxicology reports from both Mississippi's medical examiners autopsy and from the independent one. Ben Crump is not rushing the doctors to get that autopsy back, but he has said in the press conference that he is going to get it to us as soon as they get it. Not only that, he did take somewhat of accountability for running with narratives that were fueling social media. He has backed down from the boat narrative. He has skipped over the photograph narrative, though, and does not want to take accountability for that. But Ben Crump needs to be very mindful of the things that he says and does, because, again, like I've said before in this broadcast, he is a point of confirmation, a source of reliable, credible information that people are using. Right along with the family. So the things that he gets behind and he posts and all of that, if he's not being very clear in what he's saying, then we're going to miss what he's saying altogether, because it read like he was validating that photo. So he needs to be mindful of that and take accountability. And, Trayston didn't say anything that people aren't already thinking. All right. Let's be honest. He's involved. Ben Crump is involved in a lot of cases right now, a lot of high profile cases that are making noise on social media. He's been the face of them. All right. So it's not wrong for someone to feel that way. But hopefully he ceased and desist on his attacks against that boy for speaking out and speaking his mind. My heart continues to go out to the Wells Mosley family. Now, people are asking about Nolan's dad. They've been asking me, is that his real dad? I believe Nolan, they may not have been married when they conceived Nolan, and therefore he ended up getting his mother's maiden name, which is Wells, because her name is Wells Mosley, or Mosley, Wells Mosley. And we know that because Nolan's grandfather was speaking out when all of this was happening. I haven't checked in with Christopher in a minute to see what he's been talking about, but I'm gonna go over there and look for y'all. But yeah, I just feel like these kids that have come out and said something, Tristan and Javon, they have given us things to look into. They have given us given us questions. They've answered a few things, but they've given us questions to a lot of other things that need to be cleared up. And hopefully those things come to a conclusion soon. What do I think about these young ladies who have come out and they have made this report of Nolan's body being mistreated? I think that that is bogus and bullshit. I think it is also foul of them to come out and say something like that, because the family is very much active on social media. To say that his body was beaten and set on fire is disgusting. I don't know what their motive is, but I hope they get canceled. Should that come out to not be true, I hope they get canceled. Because here's the thing. Nolan's mom identified his body. And if you don't think that if that body was beaten and burned, she wouldn't have said anything, I would like to think that you're sadly mistaken. But again, we will find out everything that has happened. People have said that he had blunt force trauma to the head and that he had bruising all over his body from the beating. And we have no evidence of that. And anyone that is speaking about seeing an autopsy report, anyone who is speaking of the condition of the body outside of the family, they are making shit up just to get your clicks, likes, views, and your engagement. So y'all need to be careful. At the end of the day, we're all patiently and impatiently waiting for the next steps in this investigation. In the meantime and in between time, I will continue to be here, putting things together, asking those questions. Shout out to Ben Crump and the Wells family, because they got me to get up and get out and get on this internet early. And I so appreciate being here, spending time and space with y'all. When y'all vibe high so that the bullshit don't stick. And I will definitely see you in the next one. Thank you to everybody who was a part of this live. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. See you next time.